Hey everyone, this is Southern Fried Chat again here with 1PercentAeon. He is on a weight loss he is on a weight loss journey like no other, with a goal to lose 69 pounds, killing it on the in real life content and sharing the message super well. Hey, I'm glad you're here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I think, like manifestation is real, man, because like I listen to you every day. It's like it's either you like for like 5, 6 hours a day, and then Morad videos for like five. It's just
That's
like I'm
awesome.
always listening to you guys. Yeah, I'm starting to get to the point where I need to take a break like from listening to stuff because it's like I hear my ears ringing now all the time.
No, it is crazy the amount of content out there. I can't keep up either. I mean,
Yeah,
and I don't even watch myself, so I can't imagine
yeah.
trying to watch myself too. Because there's Murad's been on so many podcasts lately, and we've got a couple of other people starting up. Nick is doing one, and Slow Aeon is starting something, and then this new guy I can't remember his name, but he posted like an hour long like almost it felt like a Bill Burr rant for like
Oh,
an
the one
hour.
from yesterday.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah. I watched
amazing.
that. Yeah,
I
I
really liked it.
wonder.
Oh yeah, and flip the
I think
podcast too.
yeah, flip the podcast, and also
Flip the stock market. Excuse me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Ifty's on
Yep.
his Ifty's that was kind of like out of nowhere, like,
That
oh,
can yeah,
okay.
that too. Like I can't even keep track of them all in my head. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So I think that's good though. I love it, and I hope it just keeps growing, man. I think it's awesome.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned it before. You were like, man, like, people could like start their own podcast and stuff, and I was like, what can I do, to be a little different,
Yep.
to contribute. And when we go out in real life, like
Hmm.
with my homie Eternal SPX, shout out Eternal,
Yes.
and Fossey 120, shout out to them, that's his lady.
Okay.
When we
Okay.
go out, yeah, I usually speak to Spanish speakers about SPX in
Cool.
Spanish, so it's like
Cool.
you had mentioned it, but then the weight loss thing kind of took over. But I was thinking maybe I will start like some kind of like Spanish SPX content.
Yeah, that's right. You reached out to me about that, and we were talking about it.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, I mean, I would kind of put all that stuff, that kind of more recorded sit down stuff, in one bucket, and then I put what you and Eternal and like Seb and all of y'all are doing in like another
Got it.
bucket. And it's just so much, including that
Yeah,
too. And
true.
that's been like I love that content as well. It's just like I bucket them differently in my head, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, dude, we got a ton of content too, because it's like when we go out, we'll like post like one little
Yeah.
clip of one interaction, but literally like we're like either myself or Eternals, recording, or Aeon Forever is his lady, Fossey
Yeah.
120. She's recording in the background. It's like we're always like recording, so we got like a ton of content. So we're building a whole like content library on
Awesome.
like on Google Shared Drive. So it's like he's got a whole folder, I got a whole folder. So it's like
That's amazing. That's
eventually,
awesome.
yeah, we're gonna have a ton there to do stuff with.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. It takes a while to sift through it too. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used. I don't know if this will work well for you or not, but some of the AI tools are pretty good. Like if you have like an hour clip or a
Hmm.
long clip, you could throw it in there and it'll spit out what it think is the most exciting or best parts. Sometimes it's way off, but sometimes it's decent. So
Yeah.
might be
I do it
good.
with CapCut a little bit. CapCut will
Mm.
do that sometimes,
Really? Oh, I
I
didn't know
haven't,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
CapCut
cool.
will also do that. It'll take a little bit longer just to kind of process the video and everything.
Hmm.
But I think a couple of the videos that I've posted, CapCut has done it. And then it's
Nice.
super cool because then like it'll filter out like the primes, like the prime parts of the video. And then
Yes.
you can go in there and elongate the part or cut it out a little bit, stuff like
Yeah, it
that. So
gives you
it's,
like a good like starting point.
yeah, super easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very excited about all the content you've been doing and your weight loss journey. That's been awesome. We're going to go into all that. But let me start out with, how did you get into SPX 6900?
SPX 6900. So I got into SPX because of Murad, like so many of us. I'm like commenting on all those videos that he does. It's like I nominate Murad for the Nobel Peace
Dude, I
Prize.
saw
This
that.
guy's got to win it.
I saw that. I almost laughed, or I laughed
He's
about
got to
that.
win
Yeah,
this thing, man. Like if it goes to where we believe it's gonna go, it's
yeah,
like there's no way he shouldn't win it for like the Nobel Peace Prize for finance.
something. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So a little bit about my crypto journey. I got into crypto in 2021. I don't know if you remember. Well, when I first started popping up on X, I had my page. It was called MX360 Fitness.
Okay.
Uh, that was 10 years ago. I started a online fitness for Latinos, for Spanish speakers,
Okay.
where we would do like meal plans, workout plans. It was
Nice.
all at home fitness. So we had clients like literally like 3,300 clients all over the world that did
Wow.
our program. Where every week they would get like their meal plan specific to their like their calorie deficit for them.
Hmm.
They get a meal plan of what to eat with different options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks and everything. And then they'd also get like workout stuff. So for us, the pandemic was great because I started my company in 2015.
Yep.
Even going back before that, I've always kind of like I've always been a big guy, or like, or
Sure.
overweight, or had weight
I can
issues.
relate to that.
Yeah. So I've always, and when I was a little kid, in Spanish, Spanish people are like the best at like whatever your biggest insecurity is, they make that your nickname, So I was always el gordo, el gordo, el gordo. I was like, no, I don't want to be the fat boy. Yeah, so it was kind of like it, and then they name you that like when you're literally a baby, and it like follows you through your whole life. So subconsciously, you're like always the fat boy, So I actually, my heaviest, I had got up to like almost 275 pounds, at my heaviest at one point.
Hmm.
And my mom passed away in 2012 with complications of diabetes and cirrhosis.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was like drinking heavily. I was actually an assistant vice president at a bank, Key Bank. I don't know if they're in North Carolina or not, but
Sounds familiar. Mhm.
yeah, so I was actually in banking, so that's why the whole finance and blockchain and like,
Sure.
currency thing kind of connected.
Mhm.
So anyways, when my mom passed, like I kind of went through like a little bit of depression, stuff like that. And kind of when I like hit rock bottom, it was literally January 1st, 2013. I started with these things that I'm actually implementing now in this weight loss journey. I started because I was about 275 pounds, and my mom had seen me struggle with weight all my life. Where I'd like get like lose 20 pounds, gain 30, lose 30, gain 40, kind of
Yep.
yo-yoing all the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, because I never knew how to eat, and I mean, I love food, I love carbs, I love sugar, I love all these,
Hmm.
these really unhealthy foods. And back when I was an assistant vice president, it's like, I was drinking a lot too, like after
Yeah.
work functions and dinners and all this stuff. And anyway, so yeah, after she had passed, like I found myself at about 275 pounds, and I remembered like when I decided to make a change in my life,
Hmm.
I remember that she would always tell me, Cesar, if you want to lose weight, don't focus on losing weight. Focus on building habits that you can do for the rest of your life. Walk 30 minutes every day and eat small portion meals every 3 hours. That's what she would tell me. Because since she was diabetic, she always had like nutritionists and people like that would teach her these things, and like help
Sure.
her with her diabetes. So I implemented that, and that was kind of like my first like real like fitness journey where I like made a whole complete transformation. That was back like 2013 is when I started that. In 2015, I got the idea. At the time, Mexico was the number. I'm from Mexico. I'm a Mexican immigrant
Okay.
living in the United States. At the time, Mexico was, of the large nations, it was the most obese nation in the world.
Mm.
And I was like, oh man, and at the time I had made a huge transformation. I was like gone from like 275, I had lost like almost 100 pounds. And what really
Wow.
did it that one time was that I actually hired. He wasn't like a certified nutritionist, but he was like one of these like IFBBO pro like bodybuilder type people. He was really helpful. He taught me all about like macronutrients and like how many proteins I need per day, what is a calorie deficit, how to do it like over a gradual period of time that way.
Mm.
Because a lot of us that have struggled with weight our whole lives, we'll do these crash diets for like
Mm.
15 or 30 days, and then we'll gain back even more, because the body, when you're super motivated, you can do like 10 days or 15 days, super
Hardcore.
hardcore
Yeah.
things where like you stop eating carbs or you're fast for a bunch of days, but then eventually you're like, oh man, your body needs these things.
Yep.
So he taught me kind of how to manipulate the macronutrients and how to give my body the macronutrients that it needed to maintain muscle mass, because muscle mass is so important,
Yeah.
for weight loss and just for health in general. So he showed me how to do those things, and I actually created a program where our clients back in 2015, we started that program doing online fitness, where our clients would get. It was a spin on like P90X. It was MX360
Gotcha.
Fitness,
Gotcha.
which was basically P90X for Latinos, where you
Okay.
would be like at home, you do your 15 to 20 minute, kind of high intensity interval type workout, and then you'd eat these meals that were based off like Mexican staple foods, like carne asada, tacos. But you, instead of the tortilla, you could have like two tortillas, and then have like lettuce wraps for the rest of them, and like so more like a high protein based, moderate carbohydrate, moderate fat type meal plan. So we would send those out to clients. So I did that until about 3 years ago. And in the pandemic, we had great success because, like all the gyms were shut down. We had already been online for 7 years. So we're like, well, when was it? No, 2020. Yeah, we had already been online for 5 years. So the pandemic was great for us. We had a bunch of new clients. And in 2021, where just all the stimulus came in, it's like I had all this extra cash, more clients, more, we had a bunch of cash. And I was like, I talked to my accountant. I was like, what do I do with this? I don't need it. It's like, oh, just invest in something. So I was like, I found crypto, and I literally got in like at the peak. There was two peaks in 2021. Yeah, my first coin ever I bought was Litecoin. I don't even know why I bought Litecoin.
Hey, why not?
But yeah, that was like literally my first buy. And then I went down the
You
whole
could have bought worse. You could have bought worse. So.
Sure, yeah. I went down the rabbit hole, and at the time, everybody thought Bitcoin was going to get to 100K. So it's like I bought mostly majors. I bought Bitcoin, Ethereum. I bought a little bit of Litecoin, but the ones, but then I started going like way down, and a couple of the things that did really well for me in that cycle literally was Shiba Inu. In April or so, I bought like $500 worth of Shiba, and at the time it was super hard because you had to get it like on Dexes, and like you had to pay like ridiculous fees for them, so I made a couple purchases, but I was like, man, I couldn't do like a daily DCA to this kind of thing where I would pay like, I think for like $250 buy, I paid like $80 in fees and
fees that were
gas
crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I was like, so I kind of just bought it, and then eventually got listed on Coinbase, and in October or November of that year, it did a 10x for when I had bought it. I had only put in like $500, but that's where I got my like first taste of the power of meme coins, So anyway, so Bitcoin never got to 100K. It like went,
that was what everybody said.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So I had invested all this cash, and the cool thing about it though was that was really my first real true experience with investing. Now, keep in mind, I was an assistant vice president at a bank in a previous life. I had my Series 6, Series 63 investment licenses. I had my insurance selling licenses, different things that I needed for that job, but I just never was active or proactive or hands-on with my own investments, in that way. So crypto was kind of my first taste at it, so because I was putting so much money into it. I have a friend who does like day trading, and I was like, bro, can you give me like some lessons about this? You're like, here's a list of books, just read all these. So I literally read like every book I could on investing, The Alchemy of Finance, The Intelligent Investor, Benjamin Graham, all these things. And I realized that what I was doing at the time was what Benjamin Graham calls speculation. It wasn't true investing, because I wasn't looking at like balance sheets or profit and loss statements for these things. I was just like basically investing in things that had the majority of the mind share at the time. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and I didn't realize at the time, but like most of the YouTubers, they have to get views, so in order to do that, they're shilling you a new coin every day. So that creates this anxiety where it's like, oh man, okay, I'll put 500 here and then $1,000 on this coin. And they're like, yeah, and they're pitching you all these really low micro cap coins where you're like, yeah, this thing could 100x. So you're like doing all these calculations, Anyway, so that was kind of my experience with crypto at the time, but one of the great things, I got this investment contract from the Benjamin Graham book. Okay. The Benjamin Graham book has this investment contract, which I did with a buddy. And I picked at the time XRP and Solana to basically ride out through the bear market that I was going to be doing. It's like a DCA thing. I actually have it. I was going to recommend it to the community because especially when the bear market comes, it's when you're really tested about your conviction of these things. So, anyways, I had picked Solana and XRP. Now I followed through with XRP through the bear market, but Solana, when it's like my last buy in Solana as it was going down, because you remember it went down from like $200 to like $20 to like $8.
It went down to $8.
Yeah, my last buy was like $20, and I was like, it kept crashing and crashing. At the time, all the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff and all the FTX stuff was like big, and they were like, yeah, this company, whatever his main umbrella company was. Held so much Solana, so there was just all this.
Oh boy, I remember.
I know. I wish I would have bought more though.
Oh God, I mean, it felt like it was over for sure. I guess I'm mentally ill because I kept buying. but
Yeah, no,
like it
yeah, I'm
was
mentally.
the fun was insane.
It was crazy.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
so
crazy.
bad.
When I just started seeing it drop and drop. I was like, man, I'm gonna buy more because also another thing I did when I first got into crypto, I also set these amounts that I wanted to hopefully, like I wanted to have like at the time I wanted a one full Bitcoin, 10 Ethereum,
That's yeah,
100 Solanas, 10,000 X whatever
that's a
XRPs or whatever it
similar
was.
thing in my head. Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, so I followed through with XRP, which was cool. Solana I kind of chickened out on, but XRP did
fair.
really good for me.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it did really good for me because just like that Morad post, somebody posted. I don't know if it was Morad. He said there will be days, weeks, and months where crypto will do nothing, and then there will be days when it will do years worth of
Yes.
stuff.
Oh,
And that's
we know
exactly
it. Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what.
XRP. Boom.
Yeah,
That was crazy. It was like last. Was it last? What,
yeah,
October or something like
literally
that?
November 6th through
Okay.
December 4th. I literally sold at that top. I was like,
Dude, and
when I
I
took
was
my profits.
so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I was like,
Why are you mad?
because I was like, where did this come from? Nobody likes
No, bro,
XRP.
bro, it's like XRP was the coin of last cycle because
Yeah.
BitBoy Crypto and all those crypto
Yes.
channels were like
Yes.
XRP, XRP,
Oh
XRP.
my god. That's why I didn't think it was gonna come back. But I was mad just because I didn't have any. But
Yeah,
I'm
no,
glad
that
you
was
did well.
yeah. I was like that was like my big bet, my big gamble, because they were going through a lawsuit. Supposedly it was going to be dropped last cycle. It was never dropped, and then finally it got dropped, and
Yeah.
it had a little pump, but then it kind of went down again. But Trump was really the thing that
Yes.
really the election. Once
Yes.
Trump got elected, in literally November 6th. From
It's
November 6th
wild.
through December 4th, it did 600% return. So
Yep.
it was like, cool, I'm taking my profits, and what am I going to invest into now? And it's like that scene from the Wolf of Wall Street, when they're like having lunch together and they're like, yeah, and you get them hooked on this thing, and say they bought an 8 and then it goes to 16, you don't let them pull out. You get a new bright idea, something else to invest in because they're addicted. So yeah, I was like, shit, what am I gonna put these profits into? So then
Nice.
that's when I started going to the rabbit hole of that's where I found Morad, and literally my first SPX buy. Dude, I just spent 10 minutes on answering your question. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you're good. You're good.
My first SPX buy was literally December 4th. I went back and like my CoinStats app and
Okay.
saw, oh, okay, that's was my first buy. Yeah.
Nice.
So I bought it December 4th. And at the time, it's like the thing that got me super confused with XPX at the beginning was
Hmm.
okay, Murad had it as his number one coin, and
Mhm.
like I was doing all these research. I even got into one of those like paid groups, like
Mhm.
with this influencer talking about different coins and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And most people were like fading the coin even then, and it was
Yeah.
like that was December of last year. But I always knew it was the one. I
Yeah.
just the one thing that threw me off about it is I had this whole like big like those that easel paper that you put up. I was just like
Mhm.
basically had my whole room with like all these stats about all these coins, and I was
Sure.
like, this one has only I didn't know about the 3 chains at the time. So I saw that
Ah.
Ethereum there was like 45K holders. I was
Mhm.
like, wait, if Giga's got like 70K holders, Pepe's got like 200K holders, how is this one, if it's supposed to be D1, only have 45K holders? But
Yeah.
then later I found out about it took me about 30 days just researching the coin, just watching different things for it to really hit me.
Yeah.
And then when it hit me, I was like, this is it. It's like, this is the coin. This is the first coin I ever shared with my sister, my brother, my cut, like the people so close to me. Prior to this, I had never really told anybody about crypto, only like very few people. And I
Yeah.
would never recommend any cryptos to anybody except for maybe Bitcoin, not even
Sure.
XRP, even though like the XRP, like I had big conviction in it, but I never wanted to recommend it to anybody. But anyways, SPX was like, I think the thing that made it so different also was that now the tools like holder scan, bubblemaps.io, you could see the
Mhm.
percentages of each wallet, like all those things just gave me so much more security, because all those VC coins, there was all these stories about, oh yeah, the insiders own so much percentage of it. So I didn't know how to look that stuff up. So with meme coins, you just go to holder scan and it's got all these statistics and stuff. So it made me more just more like sure about my conviction in it.
Yeah.
And then I did this video. My first video about it was like on X. Like I literally had like 50 followers, and like I was like, hey guys, there's this guy named Morad. He thinks this coin is gonna go like 100x.
Uh.
I recommend you guys buy it. But then
Yeah.
like literally like 10 people saw the video.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
it
kind of
starts
my, but
somewhere.
yeah, that's kind of how I found SPX through Morad and just through my crypto journey. Yeah.
So you had 50 followers. How many do you have now?
That's a good question. Probably like 700 or 800. Yeah.
Yeah, close to a
700 or eight
thousand.
hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one day that Morad shared, Mura was like, find a way that you can contribute with your own uniqueness
Yeah.
to SPX. So I was like, okay, I got music, I got Spanish, I got my, multilingual, and I in this weight loss thing that I'm contributing in
Mm-hmm.
this way. So
Mm-hmm.
when I did my first Spanish video, Mura shared it, and that's when like I literally went from like 50 followers to like 300 followers,
Nice.
all the Aeons. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I that might have been when you got on my. I don't remember when you got on my radar exactly. I know we talked to each other during that big long space for a bit,
Oh yeah.
but I feel like you'd hit my radar a little bit before that, and I don't remember. But yeah,
Yeah. I went through some tough stuff this year, man, and maybe I'll dive into it a little bit through the podcast. But it's like I had an existential crisis, of some trauma that I had earlier in my life that I had never really recognized how it was affecting me. So it's like I did that one video in January when I
mm-hmm.
posted that video about SPX,
Yeah.
and then I had this existential crisis in March. So it's like I went away and I was went to Mexico to I want to start this music school, which I'll tell you a little bit about as well. Something about a vision that I got when I did that 40-day fast, which I know
Okay,
we've
I've
talked
got
about a
the.
little bit.
We can do it. You want to start there with the 40-day
Uh,
fast, maybe, or
hmm,
what are you thinking?
I don't know, whatever you got. I mean, I got a ton of story.
I
I'm a
I,
musician. I'm like,
I've got that down, so let's go with that. The 40-day fast. What
okay, the
what was the
40-day fast.
inspiration there? Because
Okay. So I kind of feel like we're on Blues podcast right now. Because it's like every time he gets Morad on, he's like, yeah, Morad, I want to talk about fasting. And it's like Murad's like, dude, I just want to talk about SPX, but Morad entertains it.
yeah,
I think both of the times that Murad's been on with Blue, he's like, yeah, I want to talk about fasting. And
he's
Murad's
always
like, dude.
talking. He's always talking about. He always brings up nutrition with him,
Yeah,
and
it's funny.
yeah,
Uh, Yeah, so I do have that fitness background. I had got certified as a fitness trainer back in 2015 when I
yeah.
started my company MX360 LLC or MX360 Fitness. That was my X name before. So I had that background, and
Yeah.
when I started that journey, I got the information from a bodybuilder type person. So he believed in like high protein, a lot of animal protein, a lot of that stuff. So,
Yep.
but then as I kind of went through the journey of my fitness company, my fitness journey with that is I started really like reading a lot of books about nutrition, because I became like super like obsessed with finding out what the right thing to eat for humans is. And
Yep.
it's like there's so much like, oh my god, there's so many different like ideas and thoughts and theories, and it's like we're not supposed to eat animals. Oh yeah, we are. Oh, we're not supposed to eat certain plants. Oh
Those
yeah,
are
we
like
are.
those are like two cults almost. The carnivore people and the anti-carnivore. I feel like you
Yeah.
get that's the whole thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I started reading all these books. This book called The China Study, which is like it links like all this like chronic illness to eating animal protein or animals. So it's like I read that. There's one book called The Plant Paradox, which talks about how maybe spinach could be healthy for you and then not for me. It could be inflammatory for me. So just
Yep,
all
I've
kinds of
heard
stuff.
that too. Yep.
Like that oatmeal is like super high inflammatory, like all this
I've
stuff that
heard
we've
that
been
too.
taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this stuff we've been taught about nutrition is so complex. So I kind of had that, and I also got into the literature of some books by this doctor from, I think he's from Toronto or Canada somewhere.
Hmm.
He's Dr. Jason Fung. He wrote this book called The Diabetes Code, The Obesity Code, and A Complete Guide to Fasting. So I got those books and I read them because, like I said, my mom had, she suffered with diabetes most of her life. And it was, I'm a big believer, like, I mean, it could be hereditary for myself and my siblings. So it's like, I wanted to inform myself more about that. So he is a really big advocate of fasting, this guy, Jason Fung. So the first
Hmm.
time I ever wanted to do a fast, it was the whole thing about fasting came from the Bible, basically. I believe I'm a spiritual man. In 2020, 2022, I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior without
Awesome.
even really knowing what it was, after really like fighting him my whole life,
Sure.
I'm a Mexican, so we're most people in Mexico are baptized Catholic, when
Mm-hmm.
they're babies. And I've been also baptized here in the Christian faith. So when I read, I learned to read the Bible in 2015. Also that year, a lot of stuff happened. I met this guy, Dennis Wells. He's a Vietnam War veteran, and he's part black, part American Indian. I met him at a Starbucks here in Seattle, and I walked in the Starbucks, and he was sitting there with his laptop, and we kind of like connected, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey brother, hey, what's up, brother? Yeah. And I was like, oh, you want something to drink, man? He's like, yeah, hot chocolate, sure. So I bought him a hot chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of just sat there, and it was actually Christmas Eve that day, 2015, and we just kind of just sat there and we spoke about different things. He's American Indian. My people, my ancestors are, also,
Right.
Aztec of that
Sure.
ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
So we connected on some of that stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's a believer in Christ. So and we talked a little bit about the Bible and stuff like that. And I would tell him, yeah, the Bible's hard for me to read, man, because typically when you get a book, you'll start from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible's a difficult book to read from the beginning, because it talks about all these kind of weird things, like
Mm-hmm.
like burnt offerings and like incest and all this crazy stuff.
It
That
starts pretty hardcore.
yeah, yeah. So he recommended, this is the only thing I would ever recommend anybody, even though I am a disciple of Christ, is read Matthew. And I asked him,
That's a great
that was
idea.
the last,
Mm-hmm.
that was really the advice he gave me. So he said, hey, if you're interested about having Christ come in your heart, he's like, read Matthew. I was like, why Matthew? He was like, because that's the first book of the New Testament. That's when Christ's story comes. So
Mm-hmm.
I read Matthew, and I read it, and I read it again and again. I read it like 100 times. And that's where it talked about Jesus fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. So I became like, the scripture, in Matthew actually says, Jesus, he was baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan River,
Mm-hmm.
and immediately he was taken, by the Spirit of God to the desert to fast 40
Right.
days and 40 nights. And then
Right.
said to be tempted of the devil. I was like, what? I was like, why would somebody go to the desert for 40 days and 40 nights to not eat and to be tempted of the devil? So that was always, it kind of always stuck with me. That was 10 years ago.
Right.
So that thing kind of stuck with me, and through my fitness journey, I started kind of like reading and being finding out more about fasting. Why so many cultures in the world it's normal to fast, not in Western culture, not in
Mm-hmm.
America. And at the beginning, I was like, started talking to people. It's like, hey, well, what would happen if you don't eat for a day? Oh no, you die. You can't do that. Don't you have to eat.
You will
So I was
die.
like, okay. So I kept reading more information, and I think you've referenced on your I think last, I don't know if it was Tuesday, when you were
It was
like the
Tuesday.
live
Yeah.
cognosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You were referencing that somebody mentioned that the longest recorded fast has been over 365 days.
Yeah. Something like that. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think the person was like 400 pounds when they started,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got down to like 200 pounds and maintained that weight for the rest of their life. That
Mm-hmm.
was medically supervised. So
Yep.
so I tried. So the first time I ever tried a fast,
Yep.
literally, I feel like that God or the spirit or the universe prepared me for that 40-day fast for like literally many years, because the first time I ever tried fasting, I was going to do a 1 day water only fast, and
Okay.
that 1 day turned into a 7 day fast. So
Wow.
that was kind of my first experience with fasting.
Wow.
So and that was doing just my normal every day kind of thing. Like
That's
I wasn't,
impressive.
yeah, I wasn't isolated. It was just, so I did a 7 day fast, a 1 day, a 3 day, a 10 day, a 14 day, with the idea that 1 day I was gonna do a 40 day fast.
Wow.
So yeah, so kind of in the pandemic, I started getting this, like I started in 2021 when I had that excess cash and I was investing a lot. I also was traveling a lot.
Okay.
I had a membership at a co-working place called WeWork. They're like in bankruptcy right now, but they're all
I
over
kn-
the
I
world.
know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this membership with them where it was like $300 a month that
Yep.
I could use any WeWork in the world. So I was like, cool, I'm just gonna work. Sometimes actually, between me and you here, I actually would stay in the WeWorks because it was a pandemic. There was nobody in these buildings. So like if I didn't want to
Nice.
get an Airbnb, I just want to save a little cash. all these WeWorks have these wellness rooms where there's just like they're like little studio apartments basically where they got a microwave, and some of them have like a nursing
Nice.
mother's room where literally they have like a couch. So I would just sleep there sometimes. Yeah, it was
There
super
you go.
cool. Yeah. I traveled all over America, like the United States, and just used my WeWork membership to the max.
Hey, there you
And
go.
yeah, kind of that year was the first year I mentioned it to my family when I was doing a lot of traveling. I was just being called by the spirit to go fast for 40 days. The first time I mentioned it, they were like, "No, no, you're crazy. You're gonna die. Don't do it." I was like, "Okay, you're right." The second time I mentioned, they were like, "Are you sure? I don't know. Probably not a good idea." And then the third time I mentioned it, where I finally did it, they're like,
Mhm.
"Dude, just if you're gonna do it, go do it already. Shut put up." They're like, "Stop telling us about it. Just go do it." So yeah, so I accepted Christ. It was like October 15th in
Right.
Mazatlan. I was on vacation 2022, and literally the next day I get baptized, and then 3 or 4 days later, I'm like in my version of the desert where like I'm
Wow.
going to be tempted of the devil. I like got this Airbnb for like 2 months, and I just like it was a good place in my life where I could just kind of take a pause. Like with my fitness clients, I was kind of finishing that to go into like my music phase of my life, which is this next phase that I'm in. And yeah, I just took a pause. I just rented an Airbnb for 2 months. I didn't necessarily know when I was going to start it, or when it was going to end. So I just got 60 days worth of Airbnb
Sure.
at this in Mexico at this town. I had never been there. So yeah, I just locked myself in this place, and I wasn't just there isolated. I would go out and walk around a little bit here and
Sure.
there, but yeah, but I did a 40-day fast. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, and I don't recommend it to anybody because it could be very dangerous. I didn't know during the fast. I met with a few people that they told me, oh yeah, so and so I know, like my brother or so and so in my town did it once. Or now I met with 3 different people there that had known somebody who attempted it. Now the good thing is that they didn't tell me this, like when I told them about it, because I was still in the fast.
Yeah.
After the fast, when was making some phone calls and telling them, hey, I got through it, everything's good, a lot of people were really concerned, that I wouldn't meet around. And I'm sure my family was very concerned, but I just felt like I was being called by the spirit to go
Sure.
do this thing.
Mhm.
So all these 3 people that had known somebody, oh yeah, remember I told you about my brother? Yeah, he died during the fast. I was like, dude, what didn't you tell me?
What?
Yeah, yeah. And then this other guy who knew this guy in his town, where it was like this little isolated town where all the
Oh my
townspeople
God.
from different like villages would come and just see this guy fast for 40 days. He was like, yeah, he finished the fast. And you know what happened on he finished the 40 days. You know what happened on day 41? I was like, no, what? He died. I was like, dude, why didn't you tell me? He's like, no, because you were so motivated and like, like, man, we didn't want to deter you from that thing. It's like,
Yeah.
because I'll be honest with you, day 31 through day 40 was very difficult. I was
I'm
basically
sure.
bedridden for the last 9 days. I was like, I think the thing that saved me, I just felt like horrible, the last 9 days. But that's when I feel like the spirit was like really speaking to me and giving me these visions of things that I feel like I need to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last one of the fasts that I did early on in my fasting journey was with a multivitamin.
Yep.
So, and I remembered that fast because I just felt really bad. Like the last 9 days, I felt horrible. So I had a guy who, every time I travel to Mexico can be a dangerous place, like,
Mhm.
just like anywhere in the world. Right. But
Sure.
Mexico, the specific town I did my fast at is like an infamous town. It's like the town of like a lot of like the drug cartel. It's in
Mm.
the state of Sinaloa. And that's
Gotcha.
where the two main, there's two big families of these different cartels.
Mm.
They That's where they operate. So
Gotcha.
there's some violence there, stuff like that. So anytime I travel, I always get like a chauffeur or somebody who I trust that can drive me around. So I called the guy and I was like, man, can you take me to Walmart? And it's like, I need to buy a multivitamin. So literally the last 3 days of that fast, I used the multivitamin just to make sure my body was getting some kind of nutrients.
Hmm.
Yeah, but literally it was like 40 days with no calories, which only
Yeah.
water, tea, black coffee, stuff like that.
Did you do any electrolytes at
I just
all?
did salt. I do salt with usually I do a mineral water every day with salt and lime. That's
You
that's usually
you
what I
did
do.
you do that during the 40 days?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Typically, anytime I fast, I'll do like one mineral water per day with a lime and some salt,
See,
and that. Mhm.
I attempted. So the first time I ever attempted fasting, I was going to try to make it a day, and I couldn't do it because I just felt so incredibly hungry. But most recent time I was trying to do 3 days. I didn't quite make it, but I got close. And I think the electrolytes are key because I
Yeah,
wasn't doing that before, and then that
yeah.
it like gets rid of the hunger to a degree when you drink it. I've
Yeah,
noticed.
there's a thing called the keto flu too that a lot of people they're not. You got to get your body accustomed to being in ketosis, where it's burning
Mhm.
fat instead of carbs or sugars. So that could be something that happened with your 3 day thing because I heard you say that like on day
Yes.
two or the end of day two you were feeling like really horrible.
Yeah, I
So
started to feel like I was getting the flu, like
yeah,
literally. And I went
yeah,
downstairs and ate a can of tuna and felt great.
yeah,
So I'm pretty
yeah. You
sure
could have
that's
been
what it
yeah.
was.
Yeah, yeah. Fasting is something you definitely got to experiment with.
Yeah.
Like you have to do a lot of research on it. If it's a long extended fast, like it also depends on how much body fat you have on you, right? How
Yep.
much you can last a fat, excuse me, on a fast. So it's like before my 40-day fast, I purposely gained weight for it,
Sure.
and I'll share with you some pictures later, kind of how I started and how it ended. I didn't have a scale with me in that Airbnb, so I don't know like what the lightest I ever got was, but I was really like, bro, I was frail. It was yeah.
That may have been. I wonder the people who passed away that you mentioned. I wonder if they were too skinny when they started, or if they were taking electrolytes, or if they were doing the vitamins at all, or any of that. You know.
One of the things I do know is the fast is important, but how you break the fast is also equally important.
Okay.
So yeah, so when I broke that 40-day fast, like, and I had learned this through the other longer fast that I had done. You can't just go and like have a big steak after like a 40-day fast, right? Because it's like your stomach's shut,
Right.
like your digestive system at a certain point, you're not even going to use in the bathroom anymore. It's just like not,
Yeah.
you're peeing, but you're not like, doing number two or whatever.
Right.
So you have to be careful how you break this fast because, and I experienced this when I broke the fast. Literally was midnight on December 3rd. I got down on my knees. I said an Our Father prayer, and I got up and I had this. It's like a broth, some kind of broth. So I would
Yes.
have broth, just only broth every 2 hours. So midnight I had it. 2 hours later I had a little broth. 2 hours later I had a little broth. By about 8 a.m. that morning, I try to have like a couple eggs with like a few little meats and stuff like that. And literally that filled me up till like 8 p.m. that night. So it's like you have to be really careful kind of how you break your fast. So so like I said, just try to do a lot of research when you're doing something like that. It's your body's not used to, the
Yeah.
body, the body can withstand so many things, the mind can withstand so many things. But at the end of the day, like if you're living eating like what's called the standard American diet, if you try to go from a standard American diet to like something super healthy, your body's gonna immediately feel it.
Yeah.
The first day of this journey right here, I'm on day 56 today.
Yes.
The first day I felt horrible,
Mm-hmm.
because prior to it, I was also kind of binging a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that I had a little bit of an existential crisis earlier this year.
Yeah.
So for about 4 months or so, I was just like eating things that I hadn't eaten for like 10 years. Literally, I hadn't had a hamburger in 10 years. I ate a bunch of burgers and like I
Oh
like just a
yeah.
bunch of stuff that I was eating that I hadn't
Yeah.
really ate for a long time, So yeah.
Man,
So
burgers are good. I
yeah,
will say, man.
they are. They are.
Do you you're in Washington, right? It's near
Yeah,
Seattle.
Seattle.
So
Hmm.
they have In and Out there.
They don't. Nah, I think
They don't.
there's the first Washington State In and Out, but it's like southern, somewhere southern. They have these burgers
Okay.
called Dick's Burgers, which is like the really famous ones. I don't know. There's this streamer
Interesting.
guy.
Okay.
His name is he goes by the name of, what's he called? I Show Speed. He's like one of the really popular streamers.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, he came to Seattle. He had the Dick's Burgers, and like
Nice.
that's kind of like that's where you'll see Bill Gates
Gotcha.
like at Dick's Burgers or Burger
Oh,
Master.
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, so
For some reason, I was thinking In and Out was like all the West Coast states. Not. I think it's more just California, right? I guess that's the
in
main
that
state.
yeah, in that crisis thing, I made an attempt back to the 40-day fast. And on
Sure.
day 33, I got the call or the vision to make a school for children
Yes.
in this city where I'm gonna where I was doing the fast,
Sure.
which is the capital city of that state. So I eventually want to have 33 schools all over Mexico,
That's
at
awesome.
each capital city of each Mexican state. That the whole idea behind that is basically a place where a child could come and have a musical instrument to play, a teacher to show them how to play it, and something to eat there.
Sure.
Uh, yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind that school. But when I was driving down, like basically the last 3 years, I've just been collecting all these instruments. Like when I have a couple hundred extra bucks, I'll go to like a pawn shop and buy like a bunch of trumpets or just small instruments that I could transport. That was the idea.
Hmm.
So in April of this year, I attempted to make my way down there driving. I suck at long distance driving. I'm like, my mind is ADD, so I was like, I fall asleep driving. I don't like driving long distances.
No, me
If I got
either.
to go through it I'm a musician, so if I got to go to like a 3 hour gig, I'll literally like take a nap in the middle and like an hour and a half into it just to kind of rest. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I packed up my car with all these instruments and I drove down through Oregon's got In-N-Out. So that was my first time ever trying In-N-Out burger. So yeah,
Oh,
it was pretty good.
nice.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
good
think they're
stuff.
overrated. They're
Yeah,
they're
yeah. Well,
definitely
I mean,
good, but
yeah, I mean, but if you haven't had a hamburger in 10 years, and that's your first one, you're like, oh man, this is good.
you're gonna be eating. You're gonna love whatever you're eating burger
Yeah,
wise. Yeah, that's awesome though. Um, yeah, so I can
yeah.
understand that. I think that's. I don't know. For me, I have a similar experience with yo-yo dieting and going hard and then gaining it back, and then I get mad at myself, and I'm trying to break that habit, and I'm trying not to go too. I started out with the 3 day fast, or almost made it 3 days, which was again kind of following that same pattern, but I've mellowed out a good bit, and I've I'm just watching calories and
Mhm.
doing some walking and just starting out more slower, trying to make real changes. Not
Yeah,
being tempted. Biggest thing for me is if I can make it a week and not binge eating, like because
yeah.
there's usually at least once or twice a week that I will overeat something really stupid.
Got it.
And so if I could just make it a week without doing that, like because a lot of times I'll do 4 days great, and then those last 3 days I'll do horrible, and then it
Yeah.
knocks out the progress entirely. So if I could just like not do that for a week and keep going like that, just not do it every day, and it's just tough
Do you
for me.
follow some kind of meal plan like when you're doing that?
No, I haven't been. I've literally just I have a well. I've been planning what I'm going to eat each day before, so it's not. I guess that's a meal plan, but not like as I'm not like laying it out every single day, but I kind of know what I'm going to eat every day, and then I've been tracking the calories.
Got it. Got it.
So
On like a calorie counter or an app or
I just write it down.
oh, got it. Got it.
I just write.
Okay, cool.
For some reason the apps I don't like them.
Yeah.
I just like to write them down. I don't know why. It's just what I
That's
do.
good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I do a similar thing. Like back to when I hired that bodybuilder,
Yeah.
he basically gave me a bunch of spreadsheets. But over like the time that I was working with him, I worked with him for like 12 months or so. Every week, what he showed me basically is like a really simplified way of following a meal plan, which works for me because I can literally eat the same thing every day for like because I have a certain goal. I know for some
Right.
people it's kind of difficult to always eat chicken breast, always eat brown rice, always eat whatever that's on that plan.
Hmm.
So basically what he would do is like every week, like he would give me say he calculated my calorie deficit at 2,300 calories.
Hmm.
And he put like 240 grams of that was going to be proteins, 150 grams was going to be carbs, and like 60 grams was going to be fats. Over the time working with him, he showed me kind of that most foods have one big macronutrient, whether it's protein, carbs, or
Yeah.
fats, right? So chicken breast is mostly protein, a little bit of
Yeah.
a little bit of fat. Brown rice is mostly carbs, right? An avocado is mostly fats. So he kind of showed me how to choose these foods to basically meet these daily goals. And what really helps is when you could think you're having enough protein, but what happens a lot of the times is we're not having sufficient protein, so that actually makes you hungry a lot of the times. And especially if you've like gone through this 3 or 4 days where you've like neglected like certain foods or like you've like fought temptation, it's like after about a certain amount of days, it's like your body, your willpower like will end, and you'll
Yes.
have to eat these foods. So
Yes.
what really helped me with his programs, and I still use these spreadsheets to this day, is one, make sure I have the right amount of calories and right amount of protein for sure.
Hmm.
Two, don't shortchange myself on the carbs, because
Yes.
carbs is like my weakness. It's like
Hmm.
I found out over the years that I do better with brown rice. Back to
Interesting.
these studies now, they say now brown rice could be harmful for you too. So it's like you never know what to. But compared to
Yeah,
white rice or
I've
quinoa
heard
or
that.
different
Yeah.
things. Yeah, so I do brown rice on this, and it's going really great. And I definitely got to thank the Cognisphere for their support because I'm moving pretty quick through this.
You've done awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, through this, I'm down 30.8 pounds today, and so basically it's like another 39 pounds to go. I'll probably do another probably about 25 pounds, kind of following these type of meal plans. But then after like the last 10 days, I think I might just do like a 10-day fast just to kind of get to that goal.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually we'll even out at a certain weight. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
The
that's
goal
that's
weight,
awesome.
yeah, my goal weight is 172.2, which basically was 241.2 when day one, 69 pounds. Now, the
Yeah.
one thing I did mess up on though with that was because I had been binge eating a lot of stuff, like, basically for
Hmm.
3 months, I thought I was actually going to be heavier than I was. I didn't weigh myself before saying, oh, yeah, I'm just going to lose 69 pounds. I should have weighed myself first and been like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I think that kind of goes through to our ethos. We
Yeah.
have to do something that's scary, that's something that's like very difficult.
Yes.
I, as an adult male, have never weighed 172.2, not even when I was the fittest or I had a six pack, all these things when I was back in my fitness journey
Yep.
with my fitness company. The lightest I ever got was like 182. So it's like going to 172. Probably when I did that long fast, I probably was below that, but I didn't have a scale. So I don't know how, but I was like really scrawny at the time.
How,
So
how tall are you, out of
I'm
curiosity?
5'9",
Five
5'9".
nine. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I weighed 172, I that would. I'm 6 foot, so I would be
Oh, it's tall.
way. I'd be way skinny.
Yeah. So I
Way skinny.
so I was kind of like when I finally weighed myself on day one, I was like, okay, yay, 241. I was like, damn it.
That's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I should have gained another 10 pounds before starting this thing. Yeah, but it's all good. It's like it'll
Well, I mean,
feel.
I think if you make it to 180, whatever you want to do, that's what I think you should do. But
Yeah.
I do understand trying to get to that 69 pounds. So that would be cool to say.
No. I think you said on a thing too that you're super stubborn. I'm a Capricorn, man. So it's like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't care like what happens. I'm gonna reach the goal.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty stubborn like that too. Except
Yeah.
for my biggest problem with weight loss is I get bored. I'm doing it, I'm focused, I'm obsessed with it, and then I get distracted with another obsession, and then I just stop caring about it. It's
Yeah.
like it's like so stupid. It's like I'm obsessed with it, and I'll do really good, really really good, lose 30 pounds or something,
Yeah.
and then I get distracted, and then I just like, oh yeah, whatever, fuck that.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is so
Coming back to
dumb.
what, yeah, my mom used to tell me it's got to be a daily thing that you do forever, like a
Yeah,
habit that
yeah,
you feel. And actually, I got the walking thing because now also one of the things, even though I do go to the gym every day, I do 30 minutes of cardio and then like 1 hour of some kind of weightlifting on a major body part, on a
yeah.
specific body part. One of the things that also does help though a lot is walking. Back when I
Yes.
first started this whole back in 2013, uh, I literally was so heavy that I couldn't really run. So I literally
Mm,
just started walking 30 minutes a day.
mm-hmm.
So now what I do, excuse me, after every meal, I make it a point to be active, whether that's like a 10 or 15-minute walk around the neighborhood or just be active here at home and not just sit down or not lay down. So that's also helped tremendously, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, in your before and after, I mean, you look great, man. Just to
Thank you. Yeah.
say, yeah.
Also, Cryptic Monge, man. Shout out to that dude, bro. Like, oh, I love that guy so much, man. Like, he was like, first, like when I made the commitment, he would
Hmm.
comment and stuff like that. But eventually, like he would actually go in my DMs and like be like, hey, bro, have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried rowing on the machines? Like at the gym. I was like, no. He's like, oh, I recommend do that. So he's giving me a lot of advice, like through DM, like that shows that he genuinely cares about our success. Like on a human level, on a real level.
Oh yeah, he DM'd me the first day. It was
Yeah,
like giving me tips and tips, and he actually messaged me the other day. And he's like, "Have you been sticking to it? Have you been sticking to it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been sticking to it." When he told me
nice.
I should do, which was very basic stuff, but I have been doing the basic things. So But yeah, I could
Yeah.
relate. Yeah, he's great. He actually gives a crap. So
Yeah, and he's very knowledgeable about like
yeah,
physiology and like about that stuff, you know. Even like I can admit I was not, that's why I'm doing music. That's my true passion, you know.
yeah,
Back when I was like a fitness trainer, I was like not a great one, you know, because it's like I just want to love people and have everybody be happy. And it's like, man, like going on a diet is not very happy, you know.
it's not
It's
the
like
funnest thing.
it's not the funnest, you know. It's like you're missing a lot of meals with your family, and it's
Yeah.
like our culture, Mexican culture. I've already like since I'm fasting on Sundays. Last Sunday, my sister made like pozole, which is like this Mexican meal, like this
Mm,
soup, you know. And it's like I couldn't go over there because when I'm fasting, I definitely like can't be around like great smelling food because it's
you're
like all
screwed.
all
Yeah.
cave I'll cave in, yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of a lonely journey, but it's like, you know, when you have a certain goal, like you just have to do it, you know. And
Yeah.
plus now I got to be accountable to the cognisphere, you know. So it's
That
like,
dude, I totally get that. That's why I made that post. Like I got every now that I do the live show on Tuesdays, every Tuesday somebody's gonna mention it, so I gotta keep doing it.
bro, you gotta
I
post,
gotta keep doing it.
bro, you gotta post a day one pick without a shirt, bro. That's the way to do
I
it, bro.
can't do it.
If I
Yeah.
if I didn't
I'm
do
too
that, this
embarrassed.
would, yeah, day one and day two, I still did it with a tank top because I was like, oh my god, this is not good. But then like day three, I was like, F it. I saw Blue posted like a shirtless pic. I was like, if Blue can do it, I'm gonna do it, you
Uh,
know?
yeah, y'all
Yeah.
got more balls than me. I don't think I could do it. I
That's
get
the
too
only way,
embarrassed.
bro. Like that's literally if you post like if you follow me on Instagram, I post like basically every day. I'm like some of my meals and like
Yep.
every day I'll post like my shirtless pics and stuff. You know, like just weighing myself, kind of what I do here on X, but a little bit more on Instagram. Yeah, so that's the only way, man. Because it's like it's so easy to lie to ourselves. You know, it's so
Hmm.
easy to lie to myself that because I tried to do it even prior to getting started with this. I had in mind my birthday's in January, so I had
Hmm.
already in mind that I want to be in shape by my birthday, which is coming up this January. I was like, so it was a perfect time. September 15th is actually Mexican Independence Day. So I started September 15th and going to January 14th. Now, I think I'll reach most of the goal by then, but there might be a little bit. Usually
Sure.
the last 10 pounds are always the hardest, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's why I probably want to do like a 10-day fast or something.
That'll knock it out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I totally get that. I don't know if I will, but I might. I'll consider it.
Oh, dude, one last thing about that. Man, it's I when I started this journey, I have a friend at the gym who's super lean, super like great
Mm.
physique. And he mentioned just one day, he was like, dude, I just wake up and I just chug water. And that's what I've been doing. I've been
Mhm.
just like I had to force myself again to start drinking more water at the
Yes.
beginning of this journey. Now it's normal, you know, now my body wants like to drink more. So I'm literally drinking water and liquids all day, basically. It's just, and the liquids I basically just keep to like black coffee, tea, water, a little bit of almond milk, but mostly water, you know.
Yep. I do. I do still have an addiction to Diet Coke.
That Coke, yeah.
I need to cut that out because it doesn't have sugar. It's better than Coke, I'm sure, because Coke has a 200 calories a can or whatever it does, and
Yeah.
Diet Coke's zero. But I know it's not good for you because there's chemicals and
Yeah.
all the bad stuff in it.
Yeah, it damages your microbiome. The
Yeah.
last the last I had done research into that, I was also
Yep.
addicted to it. My mom literally like her last meal was like a banana and a diet coke. You know, she's like, just give me a diet coke and go to work. I was like, here, mom. And like,
Diet
yeah,
Coke's
that was
so
it.
good,
Yeah,
man.
I know. Yeah,
It's auto heal too, so I just kind of a funny joke on the the show to bring it up.
I started getting addicted to it back when I started like dabbling in these other foods. I started drinking Diet Coke again, and now like Diet Coke is $3. I was like, oh my god, what the hell?
Dude.
Like, how is a Coke $3? You know? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Freaking
yeah,
inflation.
yeah. I search for deals. Like if you just buy Diet Coke not with a deal, it's insane. So I wait till it's like
Yeah,
half off at the grocery store and I stock up on it.
yeah. I'm back just on water and like
I
minimal
need
water per
to.
day.
I need to
Yeah.
get rid of it. I just God, I will eventually. I probably
What?
won't. I'm so addicted to it.
Yeah, one of the
I do
great
love
things
it.
that like this last like little 4 month thing that I had, it's like
Yep.
I didn't beat myself up. It was like I was enjoying like every meal that I
Hmm.
had. If I wanted Thai food, I would go out and get whatever Thai food I wanted, or
Hmm.
a burger, or tacos, or whatever food that I wanted to eat. I would just eat it and just enjoy it fully, you know,
Yes.
because I knew eventually that thing was gonna click in my mind that I was gonna be back on it, you know. And
Yes.
it's like SPX like literally found me, like I was on a very low point, you know,
Yeah.
when I really became an Aeon, which was when I made that first Spanish post, and I really just wanted to be
When was
part of
that?
the community.
When was that? What month
Uh,
was it?
I don't know when exactly. I don't. I think it must have been
Like
either
summertime?
July.
Yeah,
Yeah, either July or August. Because
that
I had
sounds about
come.
right.
Yeah, probably about July. Yeah, I had come back from this trip, and it was just a long trip. It took longer than I expected. Many things happened. I wasn't in the right mental state
Yeah.
either. I had gone through this trauma that kind of had re-triggered. That's what caused the whole thing, and I had made my way back to Seattle because literally I had told everybody in Seattle, I was like, okay, I'm out of here, guys. I'm going to start my school for these kids. I'm
Okay.
gonna go do this
Yep.
thing. It's like I'll be coming back just eventually, but no, I had to come back. I ran out of money on the trip, and it's like
Mm.
I had to come back and just start working again as a musician. So when I came back and I was just reflecting on the whole trip was a mess. I should have never done it, and it's like I was diagnosed bipolar 2 years ago, and my mom also dealt with a lot of mental disorders
Hmm.
back when she was alive. She struggled a lot. My dad, like struggled a lot. We
Yep.
struggled a lot just seeing her in that state, and I didn't really know what it meant.
Okay.
And I'll just share with you a little bit about it because I know other people also struggle with, especially after pandemic. It seems like it's been a rise in mental health issues.
Yeah.
For me, like I live in Washington State, right? I live in Seattle. It's like a little like safe haven up here, It's like where all these billionaires live, like like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos used to live up here. Like all these,
Yep.
they literally live like 15 minutes from here. You can go and drive up and down their streets, like where they live.
Yeah.
It's this place called Medina. So it's like I feel like I've never really been. I've always been a pretty happy person, and like a
Hmm.
grateful person, and like I've always known that my true wealth came from the love that I got from my mom and dad. Like I had a great family. Even though we immigrated to the United States and literally shared like one bedroom, like all five of us in
Wow.
a house where
Hmm.
there was like 12 or 15 people living,
Wow.
and it's
Wow.
like, but that was like my fondest memories was just being in that room with them, sleeping there all together. Like my brother and I had bunk beds. My sister had her little bed right here. My dad and mom had their bed, and it was
Yeah.
just like the best thing for me because when we immigrated, my dad had immigrated about a year prior, so we were
Okay.
kind of without him for about a year, and finally he saved up enough money to get us up here. And luckily, we were so lucky because we got citizenship through the Reagan amnesty at the time.
Oh yeah. Sure.
So,
Okay.
so my family literally went from there to like a one-bedroom apartment to like a three-bedroom rented house. And now my dad owns his own house here in Seattle, like in actual Seattle, not in like the outskirts. He literally has a house in Seattle, and it's all paid off for. He worked hard
Nice.
for it. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
Those
him
are
and his
those are rare these days in Seattle, I've
yeah,
heard.
yeah. How I mean, every day he's getting calls from like developers because that
I'm sure.
area where he lives, like there's a light rail train that was built, about 15 years ago. So it's
Yep.
like all around him now there's just these apartment complexes, right? Like
Wow.
there's
Yeah.
just going up literally like every couple of weeks there's a new one going up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
longer he
so
holds out on that, the more it'll be for
yeah,
them.
yeah. He said when they offer me $1 million, he said when they offer me $1 million, I'll sell it. I was like, cool. Yeah, they'll
It'll
offer
happen
him like
eventually.
700. Yeah, I think it's valued at 700 or 800 already.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna keep going.
Yep.
So I'm really happy for him in that way because like like that man, I love that man so much. My dad, he's like my hero, my idol. He's a musician too. I'm a musician.
Awesome. Yep.
He started playing like rock and roll in Mexico in the 70s, which
Nice.
was kind of a rare genre down there. They played all American tunes, even though none of them spoke
That's
English.
amazing.
They would just sing all these Beatles and Creedence Revival
That's
and all this
cool,
kind of
man. I like
classic
that.
rock stuff. Yeah. So anyways, they were very very well known, but a lot of they had this trip to go buy uniforms in Guadalajara, which is a capital city of Jalisco. We're from the
Okay.
capital city of a state called Nayarit. We're from Tepic. So they made this trip, and on the way to this to go get uniforms for their band, they had a car accident, and a bunch of them died.
Oh no.
My dad and
It's
this other
awful.
guy, I think, survived. Two of them survived, and like he was like pulling bodies out of the wreckage,
Oh
and it
my
was like
god.
very traumatic for him. Yeah. So when that
Wow.
dream ended there, he was like, "Man, I'm gonna go to the United States because my uncles used to live here in Seattle, so he came up here." He has this story. He says yeah, man, I was gonna go. Like my dream was to get to Seattle, and I was gonna be playing bars and clubs. I was just been gonna be a musician. He's like, I got to Seattle. The next day, I was washing dishes. That's his
Mm,
story, you know. And
mm-hmm.
he came up from a dishwasher to, like, like he worked in the restaurant industry most of his life.
Cool.
Also with
Yep.
music, he would basically work in the restaurants during the days and music at nights. And my brother and I was about 12 or so when I started playing like bars and clubs and stuff like that, and we kind of just had been doing it most of our life with him like that, so so the whole thing with my mom, at a certain point, she like her illnesses, she couldn't really work, so it's like my dad really like had the whole burden of everything on him, and it's like he stuck
Yeah.
it out, he was always there with her, it's like until the end, till she passed,
Yeah.
he was always committed to that marriage, which, very admirable,
Yep.
admirable. And I just love the guy. And yeah, so a lot of what I do is kind of like in their honor,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of, pay homage to their sacrifice for us, so going back to the story of how I've been in Seattle, it's like most of my life here has been very happy. But
Yes.
when I was in college, I was a 19-year-old college kid, and a friend of mine was selling his car at the time, and I was test driving it. And I had this little road rage incident with another driver. I cut
Ooh.
him off,
Yep.
and like
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, it was a Corvette or whatever. So it's like I was kind of driving too like an asshole, So it's like I cut the guy off, and he
Yep.
starts chasing me all up and down this neighborhood,
Ooh.
and it wasn't the best neighborhood, So I finally
Mm-hmm.
got away from him, and I was driving home, and all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden this cop pulls me over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, get out of the car. You've been this car's been reported in a hit and run. The car actually had a little bit of damage from like whatever previous damage that it had
Mm-hmm.
up on it. So I was like, okay, maybe he thinks that maybe this guy who was chasing me called it and reported it as a hit and run. So,
Mm-hmm.
I get out of the car. The guy actually handcuffs me and puts me on the ground face down. And at the time, it wasn't like anything like, I mean, I wasn't like arguing with the guy. I wasn't really saying anything. I was just kind of face down on the ground with
Mm-hmm.
handcuffs, right? And 4 or 5 different like police cars just show up, and they don't say a word to each other, bro. They just start and they just beat my ass, like literally, like Rodney King style, like back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They just start just bah, 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 bah. Like I was like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? It's like, man, they broke my nose, like they just left me all bloody, and they charged me with resisting arrest, destruction of property, and obstruction of justice. And I was like, that was a very traumatic thing that happened.
Yeah.
The
That's
next, they
awful.
brought me to, yeah, they brought me to jail, and it's like they dropped all the charges because I had done nothing, but it's like, it's just, to me, it was like an
Do you
out
have
of
any
body.
idea where it came from? Did you ever
Yeah.
think, was it
I
that
didn't,
guy? Did he call somebody? Do you think he knew
oh
somebody?
no, I didn't even know what that whole thing, it was
You
probably the
just,
guy,
yeah.
but it
I
was
wonder if that
nothing.
guy was like some maybe big shot and like called somebody to do it. I don't know. It just seems so
It
weird.
was just
It's
what
insane.
happened is, and this is for the kids watching at home, every decision you make will have consequences in the future. I didn't know, so that happened right when I was
Sure.
19, and then I had a little scuffle with the police, a couple of years later, where they
Yeah.
also kind of beat me with some sticks and stuff like that. So it's like, not to yes, I was a victim of police brutality, and yes, it
Mm-hmm.
happens. Later on in my life, I met the chief of police of Seattle, the
Mm-hmm.
Seattle police chief. At the time it happened, I met him at a luncheon, and he was like promoting a book. And in his book, he wrote, yeah, back in our day, the darker you are, the worse you got it. That's what he actually, that was part of the ecosystem, of the police department at the time, and he apologized to me in person for whatever I went through. But I didn't realize how that's what's still in me. It's like I'm a
Yeah.
very loving person, and I'm a very forgiving person, and it's like, earlier this year I was driving. I went to go get one of my instruments fixed, and on the way back, a cop car starts following me,
Yeah.
and like eventually two cops will start following me. So then like they pull me over, and they're like, from the like by this time there's a bunch of troopers in the back. They're like pointing their guns at me saying, suspect, get out of the car, suspect, get out of the car. And I was like, I knew I had done nothing wrong, right? So I put my hands out, and they're like, it kind of instructed me on getting out of the car. And they're like, with your right hand, just take off slowly your seatbelt, slowly open the door with your. So, anyways, they were instructing
Mm-hmm.
me. They were like, walk back towards us slowly, slower. They were like really intimidating, like trying to intimidate me. And because of these previous situations that I had with police, I know like not to like do any sudden movements, not to talk,
Yeah.
like literally don't talk, just stay calm. And anyways, I get back to, to where the cops are, and they handcuff me, and they said, the cop, there's a guy talking to me while the other officers are like still yelling at my car for the passenger to get out of the car. There was nobody in my car. So it was a weird situation. But that whole thing, the cop that was talking to me finally when I got back there was like, you're not under arrest. I was like, well, am I being detained? Like, yeah, you're being detained. Why? It was like, well, a car matching your description and a person matching your description was involved in a shooting. I was like, well, what was the license plate of the car? Oh, no, we don't have that. So I just kind of took the whole thing as like, okay, something's up here. Maybe they've seen the history that I got with those previous incidents. But anyways, they unhandcuffed me, and then the guy was like, do you want to file a report? No, I just want to go home. You want our names or bad? No, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
So that actually resurfaced this trauma that I had from back
Yeah.
when I was 9. I didn't realize it. And it just was just this cascading thing where it's like I thought I was gonna die. I literally had an existential crisis. That's when I wanted to go start my school, and it was just a nightmare. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize how my mental issues, like being diagnosed bipolar, I didn't really know what that meant at the time. But then
Right.
I've been researching it more to understand it more.
Were you diagnosed after that event or before that
No,
event?
actually I was diagnosed after the fast, which is also
Okay.
another thing that it's all connected though. I didn't realize about this trauma that had kind of spurred it up, like it spurred up a few times in my life,
Yeah.
and it caused me to do things like just like things that later I don't necessarily I have few regrets in my life.
Yes.
It's like I do wish I hadn't done certain things, but it's like I know there were learning things that I had to do.
Sure. Sure.
So the George Floyd incident that happened kind of in the pandemic also
Hmm.
was another one of those situations, because it's like it made me relive that moment with
Yeah.
myself. And it's like those kind of things, like finally though, uh, now being part of SPX and having gone through what I went through earlier this year
Hmm.
with that situation with these cops, and just kind of spiraling downward, and
Yeah.
really hitting rock bottom with my mental health,
Yeah.
being back in Seattle, and just being the things I really love about SPX is DCAing every day, being part of a community. We want to do good for the world. We're a
Yep.
community of like-minded individuals. It's like these things are all things that resonate with me, and I just felt like the community found me at a low point.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I just to share a little bit about myself too. I actually have bipolar too, as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Just as you mentioned it, I figured I'd mention it too. What do you know? What do you remember? Which type of bipolar you have? There's like two types.
I don't know.
No,
I
I
I
think.
I got to get help, like more like I just went to ChatGPT like recently, and like been researching more about it, and how that situation with the cops felt me feeling like powerless, like authority figures had taken advantage of me, my rights were violated, those kind of things, which actually created a superiority complex where, where in connected with my bipolarness, like I had actually started having like religious delusions is what they call it.
Yes.
Being so much into faith and reading the different
Yeah.
scriptures, and it's very dangerous to, for us who struggle with these mental disorders. The one thing that Matthew 6 says is don't judge others, because by the same measure you will be judged. But when you're in these states, in these episodes, I get
Yeah.
episodes of like when I don't sleep well, I could
Yes.
get very
Yes.
judgy in that way. And luckily I've learned to identify it, and
Yeah.
I've
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, ever since the pandemic, I've made sleep a huge priority in my
Yes.
life.
Yes. It
Yeah.
is very
Oh,
important.
yeah. Do you know what your
I think
situation is?
it's
Or
yeah, it's bipolar. I believe it's type. Okay, now I'm forgetting which one it is. There's two different ones. One of them is where it's called hypomania. You'll go through manic states that are quick,
yeah.
and then you'll go through a depressive state that's pretty quick. And there's some that can be sustained over time. And you can go super down quick. That's the one I've got. So
Got
I
it.
had an episode where I had to go to a mental hospital for like a week and a half, That's where I got diagnosed. That was like over 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
So then I got on medication, but it takes a while to get over it. I was in a super manic state. Essentially, I had like psychosis. I was thought aliens were real. I thought like trying to get me. The FBI is trying to get me. Like all these crazy. Have you ever seen the movie Beautiful Mind, where the guy's like
Yeah.
that, like that? Like I was just
Got it.
like it was very real, and it was at one point, and then eventually I just thought I was the Antichrist, and like just such just bizarre, weird shit,
Yeah.
and
No, no,
you
believe
know,
me. Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, I
like
thought I
crazy
was the
shit.
Christ, you know?
Well,
It's
that too,
like,
you start thinking that,
yeah.
and then you're like, no, maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that. You just your brain is
Yeah.
overactive, and you're not making any sense.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, like when I got back from this whole situation, like I've been going out. One of the places that we go out, I went out with Eternal SPX once
Yeah,
to Alki Beach. Being out at Alki Beach, I just went out one day and just played my trumpet out there just on a
sure,
bench, and I would do it like very regularly. And a guy that I met just, I mean, I would meet all kinds of really cool, interesting people just doing that. People would just come up to me and we'd start about talk about whatever music or whatever stuff. And this guy that I met there, we started following each other on social media. I went up to his apartment once because he plays the piano. So I needed somebody for like one of my tracks, to do a music video with me. So we went up to collaborate about that. He's actually going through a lot of it, and the one thing that I'm a very like I'm a musical artist, and I've done like music videos. And back when I was doing my fitness company, I would literally do like live videos every day. So I'm very like, like very I use social media a lot, whether it's TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or
awesome.
now using X, for whatever message I want to get out.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, like when I was going through those things, I was posting a lot of weird things on social media.
Yeah,
And like the next morning, I'd wake up and like I delete stuff, because because of the things that I went through with that trauma. It's like I was mad at myself, I was mad at America, I was mad at Donald Trump, I was mad at the
sure.
president of Mexico, I was mad at these drug cartels for killing children, and I mean all this
And it
stuff, was
overloads your brain.
yeah,
You feel like
yeah,
this deep sense of empathy. I've felt that too. I would go through phases where I'd feel deep senses of like not empathetic, like totally selfish psycho kind of things, and then I would feel deep empathy the other way, and I would get in these crazy emotional states. So I bipolar is, you got to be on top of it. So, like you said, sleep is so important. Like that,
yeah,
if you don't sleep for 2 or 3 days, you're liable for an episode.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that and that's when some of the research I've been doing, it
Yeah.
shows up like that, where your mind is just racing so
Mm-hmm.
much and that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing with fasting. When I did that long fast, like the
Yeah.
last 9 days, even though I was bedridden, I couldn't really sleep. So it's like
Right.
your mind just starts racing so much, like so many visions, so many things that you're thinking. Luckily, at the time I was like, I got these good visions that I wanted to do good for the world. I didn't feel like
Yes.
threatened or like that things were out to get
That's
me and stuff
awesome.
like
Yeah.
that. But it's like, yeah, it's like because it's like fasting is really a cleansing process. And when you're really like I literally didn't have a TV or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I would torture myself every night by watching like YouTube, like cooking, like cooking videos of like this guy like in like Azerbaijan that was like cooking like these big animals and like
Oh, I've seen those.
yeah,
Yeah, those are
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So anyways, yeah, so
Yes.
I don't know, it's I definitely recommend, like, I mean, if there's other aeons that struggle with this, which I can imagine there are, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, I mean, SPX has definitely given me a lot of peace. It has given me a lot of hope, and also it has rekindled that passion that I have for helping others.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, so
awesome. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad you're finding an outlet there, and you've done great work, and I really enjoy checking that stuff out. And you're very sociable and more very outgoing. I couldn't do what you do. I couldn't do that. So I appreciate the people who can do it and are doing it. So like Seb, you and Seb are cut from the same cloth. I feel like so,
Yeah.
and all y'all that are doing it. So it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, that whole thing too. And I recommend, like I urge other Aeons that do feel that like Eternal SPX and I are very different.
I can tell. I've noticed that just from watching
Yeah.
the videos.
He okay, like you probably have to talk to him. The first day I met him,
Uh-huh.
Like I literally posted up on X because I would see Seb and all those guys like doing
Yep.
all the IRL stuff. I was like, oh,
Yep.
I want to do this in Seattle, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, are there any Aeons in Seattle? I just posted that in on X, and Eternal replied, you know,
Mhm.
and like we connected through DM. I was like, cool, cool, let's meet, let's meet Wednesday at Pike Place Market. That's a real popular spot. There's a lot of foot traffic there. We could talk to a lot of people.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, sure.
he gets up there and like we go out and chill immediately, right? He's like about just chilling. Oh my God, I love the guy because literally Eternal will see a 103-year-old man and be like, hey, are you interested in the next top cryptocurrency? I'm like, dude, he's 110 years old. This guy will see anybody. He'll chill to anybody. I've learned that from him. I'm more selective. It's like, oh, okay, this guy looks like a crypto bro. Let me go talk to him.
It's probably
Like
you think about it a little bit.
literally, he went up to this couple in Bellevue, Washington. It's like a really fancy place here where
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all this tech stuff is going on there. He literally went up to this couple, and the guy's like a straight up boomer, like 65-year-old boomer. And this guy was like, "Hey, would you like to flip the boomer SPX with like S&P with us? We're flipping it with SPX." I was like, "Dude, he is a boomer." He literally told him that. So
Oh
so
my god,
so
that's
so so
hilarious.
Eternal got in literally on day one.
Really?
This guy, he told me the story just like what Hype was telling you. That was
Yeah.
like the same thing he was telling me, like the
Wow.
coach candle and idea hazard and all
I
this
didn't know
stuff.
he was in that early.
Dude,
Mm.
he got in when it was like a $10,000 market cap.
Oh my
And I
god.
was like, how'd you get in? He was like, Idea Hazard literally posted the contract address and said, buckle up. And he said when he looked at the contract address, literally like nobody had bought it. Literally, it was like 10K market cap. So he kind of went through, you probably have to talk to him, get the real, like, this is what I
Yeah.
heard about it, right? He was
Sure.
like a mini Morad. When he told me how much SPX he holds, I was like, what? How, bro? Like, I was like, oh, dude. I was like, no, he's one of those. I think he's one of those hyper online people because he knows about stuff like so immediately. We
That's
won,
awesome.
yeah, we won the Rova competition where it was like shill SPX in your own way in the streets.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that was going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
Rova gave 690 SPX.
That's right. That's
I
right. Yeah.
actually won that with the video that I posted. It's pinned
Yep.
to my thing, and we had already talked about it. It was like, okay, we'll post a video each, submit a video each, and whoever wins it, we'll just share the token. I mean, he's like mega like SPX holder, right? So it's like I'm like nothing. I'm like this, right? But I was like, dude, we'll still share it. Like,
Yeah.
so I won 690. He won actually 69 because Rova awarded like another few people with tokens on. So it was like 759 tokens.
Sure.
He was like, dude, just keep them. I was like, nah, bro, come on. Like, there's a saying in Spanish, cuentas claras, amistades largas, which basically means you keep a good accounting between friends and you'll have a friend for life,
I
and that's
like
what, hey,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
agree
bro,
with that. That's very
I was
true.
like, you're a little mini Murad over here, but hey, we had already talked. You're gonna get these coins, so I transferred the coins. So yeah, he's super cool. I love him.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. I didn't know.
yeah,
I didn't know he was in it from the beginning. That's
yeah. He
interesting.
told he told me a little bit about how when Coach the Idea Hazard when he sold, how a lot of them sold some of their supply and stuff like that, and they were kind of a waste. Similar thing that Hype was saying, how he wasn't so active with the community,
Yeah.
and Eternal was telling me a little bit about that too. That a lot of people kind of backed away from being so active, and then came back around. So even
Yeah.
Idea Hazard, I guess. He came back, and people are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll accept you back."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have him on now because if he was that early, I'm trying to figure out who made it, and a lot of people are saying Idea Hazard. That adds kind of evidence to me, but I don't
yeah.
actually want to know for sure because I kind of like the idea of it being who knows.
Yeah, I
Let it
listened to
do
that
kind
Hype interview
of.
like 3 times, bro. I listened to that a lot. Yeah, I love that.
I'm
Him,
gonna have
Ready
to
Set
have.
Go.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
piece it together in my head. Like I'm putting all these. I've talked to Based God. He was done. You think he was at day two? He was like a day two Telegram admin. So that's coming out soon. Um, so
yeah. Talk
and
talk
there's a
to
lot of
Eternal. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
piecing it
exactly
together.
what. I don't know. Maybe I heard that he got in on day one, but when he told me the market cap, I mean, he's gonna
I'm
tell me
pretty sure that's
the
day
true
one.
story,
10,000 is
dude.
day one.
I was like, oh my god, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. No,
Damn.
I love Eternal. Yeah,
Hey,
he's
well,
cool.
hey, good for him. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. A little mini Murad. There you go.
he's a little mini Mura. That's crazy, man. Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh man. Okay, so Let me get back to my question.
I know we're like on bipolar and fasting. Yeah, I knew that this was like when you reached out to me, I was like, one, I'm not worthy Aeon over here
Yeah,
because
you
it's
are.
like
Yeah,
you
you
got.
are.
I mean, you got Matt Beck over here. You got
I've
all
already
these
talked
like.
to Matt back.
Yeah, I know you got. I know that's what I'm saying. The caliber of people you've had on,
Oh,
even
wow.
Monch, like all these great people like in the community, you know. And it's like I knew that I maybe couldn't add nothing about SPX or crypto, but it's like I got stories to share about
No,
music or
that's
about like
that's
fasting or spiritual stuff. Yeah.
no, that's great.
I've been to
So
Jerusalem, man. I felt
really,
Christ in Jerusalem.
that's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
it's crazy. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's kind of when all that stuff happened. Like when I got diagnosed after the fast because I came back like, oh my god, like Christ is real and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's like my family was like, oh no, yeah, we're gonna lock you up. So I was actually yeah, no, I got locked up for 14 days. I had this episode in a restaurant, so the police were called. No, no, it's not
I'm sorry.
good,
I'm
bro.
not
Yeah,
trying to laugh.
no, 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 no,
Just
it's
the
not.
way you said it was funny. I got locked up too.
Yeah, I got locked up too. Yeah, I was on an involuntary psych hold, bro.
I
Yeah,
was
because my
too.
family,
Yeah.
yeah, my family thought I was gonna like hurt somebody or myself, which I would never do. It's like I
Yeah.
love myself. I know that I'm here for a purpose, and I want to help children. I want to help the world. So it's like I would,
Yeah.
yeah, but
When
I
you
could,
get in
I
those
could
heightened
definitely,
states, it is something to be wary of because when you're in a heightened state, you may do something accidentally, like even if you don't
yeah,
intend it.
exactly,
Because
yeah.
I remember driving the day of, and I was driving like a maniac. And I
Oh, okay,
didn't,
okay,
looking back on it, I was. In the
yeah,
moment, I didn't think I was, but looking back on it, I was.
yeah,
So it's like you got to be, yeah. Sleep is number one. That's all I'll say. Make sure you sleep.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, it's not it. I remember I went through like a jokey phase with it. I tried to make light of it, but it's a big deal, and you have to take it seriously.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that, bro. Because
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, man. Like, I mean, I sleep pretty good. Like
yeah,
I'm a musician, so I usually get home like at 2 or 3 from a gig, and like
sure.
I might like get to sleep at 4 or 5 in, but I always sleep the 7 or 8 hours that I need or
Yes.
my body or my mind needs. I don't get out of bed. Luckily, like I teach lessons and I also play music like at bars and clubs and private parties and stuff like that. So it's like I have my mornings free to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care if I get up at 12 or 1 or 2 or like whatever my mind and body need, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get that. So
Well, but
yeah, we're
and you can look at it eventually, or once you maybe settle into it even more. Because I remember the first couple of years is kind of weird, and then eventually you kind of it's like you can almost look at it like a superpower. Because sometimes I'll get so
yeah.
motivated, and I'm like, oh, and I'll just do something crazy, and then I'll be like, okay, I need to calm down a little bit.
I mean, these things that I've done, like, like whether it was like help 3,300 people with my fitness company or starting the school,
Yeah,
which,
that's awesome.
it's like already got the ball rolling for that. These are things that I would never do if I didn't have this thing.
Yes.
Yeah, like this past thing because I thought like I was literally it was like, oh man, I'm gonna die. It's like I made some bad decisions and the
Yeah.
bad I'm sure you can relate. Like you hurt the closest people to you, to try to protect them from you. It's
Yeah.
like I verbally hurt a lot of
Oh
people.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
got paranoid, like I usually don't share that I have crypto holdings with anybody, but I had shared them with some people. And
Yeah.
like I
Freaked
even
out.
thought
Yeah.
one of the guys was like gonna try to do some harm me, like, to get my crypto holdings or I just made
Yeah.
up these stories in my mind. So I had to come back and just apologize to all these people and like, it's yeah, I mean it finally I finally realized, yes, there is something wrong. I have to find help. It's like I have to, I just had to really look deep inside, and just admit, okay, there's something here. I have to find help.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first step. Because
Yeah.
when you're feeling the way you feel, you're like, I don't need help. I feel fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You're like, I feel great. What are you talking about? So
Yeah.
yeah, it is kind of hard to accept it, but eventually you do it. It makes the world difference, and then you can look at it like a superpower almost. That's how I kind of do whenever I get in those ways. But you
Yeah.
just can't let it go too far, basically.
Yeah. The same thing happened with me and alcohol. I used to really love social drinking. I honestly, I was an alcoholic. I had issues with drinking and
Yeah,
driving.
sure,
I got arrested a couple times for that. And luckily, I've been 14 years almost sober, and it's
awesome,
like,
man.
yeah, yeah. And, I went through AA programs and stuff like that. It was court mandated at the time. So I don't know how much I really like paid it, like, I really took advantage of the whole thing, but I know a lot of like the 12-step program stuff really like sank in, and it's just about habits and, about like there's certain things that you can't control, it's like you got to get that up to God or your higher power or
Yeah.
whatever you believe in, and it's like, yeah, so
Yeah. Well, I'm thank you for sharing that with me. I wouldn't have shared that otherwise. So I appreciate you sharing that. It made me open up too, and
for
it's
sure.
cool, man. I mean, it's not cool. It's just cool that you opened up about it. I think it's a good thing to talk about. Actually, I'm very passionate about it. If anybody do want to reach out to me about it, if they're struggling with it, feel free to reach out to me as well because I have some experience with it. We'll say,
Yeah.
and yeah. Let me see where I'm at.
I know we're like all off on different topics.
Okay. Okay. We already kind of talked about that. Okay. Here's a good one. Do you have any? Do you have any tips for folks who may be considering going out and doing the in real life stuff? Like, what are like especially on the actual part of telling somebody about it? Like, what kind of tips could you give to people?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, first thing I would do is just post like if you feel comfortable posting on your X if there's other Aeons in your area. Now, that could be dangerous too cuz like the first time I met Eternal, I was like, "Okay, who is this guy?" He probably thought the same thing about me, it's just like, "Okay,
Yeah.
who are we? Are we like, so I guess use caution in that way, a little bit
Yes.
there. But I always feel like yeah, I shill it a lot on my social media, especially.
Mhm.
And now I'm starting to show up to like rehearsals and like recording sessions and gigs. And some of the musicians there are holding SPX now because
Nice.
I have mentioned it. So there's always like power in numbers, So
Hmm.
if you could find somebody else who's also passionate about it to do it with, I know that when I go out with Eternal and now his lady, Fozzy 120, she goes by Fozzy 120,
Hmm.
Aeon Forever. She's been coming out with us, so it's like three of us now. There's another guy who reached out to us who is here locally, in West Seattle, who's like, hey, I want to come out too. So, so we've been kind of growing our little group here.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome,
and
man.
yeah, and I've definitely learned a lot from Eternal about how to present it.
Okay.
I use different tactics. One tactic that works really well is just a lot of these conversations are having like with people who are passing by. So I mentioned like the debasement of the currency. Hey,
Yeah.
they're printing more dollars every day. This is a way we take back the power of our currency. This is SPX 6900. Research it. Here's some videos about what it is. Recommend you join the movement. That's a way that I approach it. If somebody looks like I do, like kind of size people up. Eternal is just like whatever, like he'll tell the same thing to everybody, He's like, yeah, like whether they're 100 or whether they're like literally, he's like, oh my God. He
Is
was literally
it
shilling to like a 7-year-old boy at the Mariners
what?
game. Yeah, he was like, his dad was right there, and he was like, he was talking about, hey, this is like GameStop, like, but like 100 times better. We're more passionate. And the dad took the thing and like, we're like, oh, thank you. And they walked away. But literally, he was shilling to like a little boy. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah. He'll
god.
literally show to everybody. So
That's hilarious.
I kind of look at the people and like, okay, this person probably has heard about crypto. Hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? I usually approach it either with the Bitcoin thing or Dogecoin. GameStop, I knew about it when it was going on,
Yeah.
but I didn't know too much about it. So I don't really feel like I've watched the movie recently, like I went
Mm.
back and all these movies that Aeons are referencing, like the GameStop Dumb Money movie and The Big Short or Wolf of Wall Street, but that's a different thing.
Yeah.
What's the other one? The Matrix, some Aeons have
Oh
I've,
yeah.
I've watched that like 3 or 4 times
I love that
recently.
movie.
So
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
good,
so
man.
so that's kind of what my approach is,
Yeah.
and sometimes I bring my trumpet out and kind of just
Nice.
play out, and then people are like, oh yeah, good music, and then I kind of use that as a icebreaker for things.
That's awesome. Is it? I know
Yeah,
you're coming to Miami, right?
I am. Yes.
Is Eternal coming to Miami or no?
The last I heard, yes. So
There's
yeah,
gonna
I
be a
think
lot of
we're
people, man. I feel like there's more and
yeah,
more people I keep hearing about. It's like I thought it was like
yeah.
20 something, but it might end up being more than that. I know it's
Yeah,
quite a
man,
few.
it's gonna be so cool. I mean, even when two Aeons get together, it's like electric. Imagine like 20 or 30 or 40 Aeons getting together. Oh
That's
man,
gonna be
yeah,
awesome.
this is gonna
I
be
I
yeah,
feel more comfortable because, like I was saying, I'd feel uncomfortable doing what y'all do, but with 40 people, 30 people, whatever it is,
yeah.
you just one of 30. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, there's some days when we do it every Wednesday. We basically go out here in Seattle every
Wow, that's
Wednesday and we
awesome,
choose
man.
like different neighborhoods. And like literally some days I'll be drinking my coffee and kind of just standing back. Like Eternal's a beast, you know, he'll be out there like from like as soon as we're out, he's like pam,
he's
pam, pam, pam.
he's ready.
He's
He's
like giving
going.
flyers to everybody, you know. And it's like I'm like, dude, can I chill? Can I drink my coffee real quick? You know? So I'm like back there, kind of just filming him, just taking content. And then like when he like notices that I'm kind of laying back a little too much, he's like, dude, you can chill too. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me chill. So I kind of warm up a little bit, but other days I'm like, boom, I'm on it too, like
Right.
right off the gate, you know. So
Right.
most people are receptive, you know. I think we've only had one person be rude,
Mm.
but most people are like, yeah, cool.
That's not bad.
Yeah, usually when I see runners like running, like I'll run with them. We're like, hey, this is SPX 6900. We recommend you look into this, you know, kind of like it kind of like cracks them up a little bit.
That's so funny.
Eternal tried to do that with this guy. And the guy was like already like he must have been running for a while. He was already kind of frustrated. He was like, dude, shut up. And then we were like, okay, chill.
Sorry.
So we were like this beach where you like there's like this long like walkway where people go run there a lot. So on the way back, like when we were walking back, we passed by the guy again. I was like avoiding all eye contact with him. And he was like, "Oh, sorry for snapping at you. Sorry, I was just kind of tired." Yeah, so
Oh,
he like apologized
well,
for
then,
snapping.
then it's not good. That's not too
Yeah, it
bad.
was funny. No, it was funny more than anything. Yeah,
That is funny.
we have a lot of fun doing it. You know, that's why we do it. You know,
Yeah,
because one, we believe it's the right thing to do, and two, it's like we literally have fun shilling SPX. You know, it's like,
that's awesome.
oh yeah, we shill it to everybody, and that's one of the things I learned from Eternal is to just to shill to everybody. You know,
Even the
yeah.
105-year-olds.
He does it. You know, like you'll see him, man. Like he doesn't care. You know, yeah, he's a beast.
That's hilarious. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, I love that.
Yeah.
Do you think the fact that you play live music kind of helps you in doing that? Does that give you?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, totally. My personality is, you know, and Murad's made reference to this recently where people who are more outgoing might have a leg up in this new phase that we're going in through where it's a creator phase, you know.
Yes.
There's a lot of, you know, in real life content that will go viral, right? Like when because like this kind of thing, like we're in the comfort of our own homes or, you know,
Yes.
or a podcast studio or stuff like that. But when you go out, man, it's like playing live music, literally like we'll go out with Eternal here to different malls and stuff like that, and I'll run into a bunch of people. Either I played at their wedding or their quinceañera. This kid, literally, this 18-year-old kid, last week, I showed up to this recording session, and I show up, and he's like, "Dude, I got SPX too." He's like super excited, right? He had messaged me once about an instrument, about a bass, and I didn't know like he had bought the coin, right? So when I show up, it's like I immediately pull out my phone. It's like, let me see. So he opens up his wallet and he's like, he's got like 34 coins, you know. It's like, yeah, bro, you're an Aeon. He's
Nice.
like, dude, you played at my dad's wedding, you know. It's like,
Nah,
oh shoot, really? Yeah, it's crazy.
that's
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
before I was born, you know. So literally I'll run into a bunch of people that I've met through my musical journey. So that you know, I've always been a pretty confident person, you know, even when I was a lot heavier, like I think music has made me confident, you know, and I
Yeah.
think what so the whole purpose behind my school in Mexico that I want to start
Yeah.
is I believe that music, yes, we're going to teach music, but what music really teaches you is discipline
Hmm.
and discipline of doing something every single day, like literally every single day you got to play your scales or you know your chords or these
Right.
things that are going to make you a great musician. You have to do it every day for the rest of your life if you want to dedicate your life to that, you know. So that's what we want to teach these kids is this discipline, you know, to be a that will filter into other areas of your life. That's why I've also had success, you know, at different times in my life with weight loss because I know it's a daily thing that I have to do, and you know, there's a beginning and an end goal that I have to get to. But daily things, regardless of the scale, man, because the scale could be like you know what they call it a double-edged sword, man. It could be your best friend or it could be your worst enemy because man, there are plateaus. Like literally at
Yes.
you know the first days you drop a lot of weight, you know, but then
Hmm.
after about 15 days, your body gets adapted to whatever change you've made with your diet or your exercise. And then you'll have like a whole week where you don't drop a single pound. You might even gain a pound or two. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh man, that's when people kind of give up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is like, regardless of what that scale says, I have to do 30 minutes of cardio. I have to walk after every meal. I have to do a body part of, working out every day. I have to drink a certain amount of water. It's like I have to do these things that it will eventually get to that end goal,
Right.
and that's what I've learned through music, just repetition, repetition, do it again and again and again. And that's what we want to teach,
You play the trumpet, right? So
yeah.
Do you play any other instruments or just the trumpet?
Yeah. Trumpet's actually my passion instrument. That's the instrument I've been playing since I was 10 years old. And this is it right here. This beautiful instrument here.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually got this inscribed when I was in my fast. I got, you can't see it over, maybe you can't see it, but I got Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's awesome, got that on the bell, in Spanish.
That's awesome.
Todo lo puedo en Cristo que me fortalece. And I got some of this work done in Mexico. But
nice.
the money instrument, the instrument that I actually play for a living, it's called a sousaphone. It's like a huge instrument, big bell. Yeah, it's like a marching band instrument. But it's as a musician, you would think it's hard to make a living, but that type of music, and being where we're at here in Seattle, it's a pretty good economy up here. It's you can make a pretty good amount with that instrument. Nice. The majority of my income comes from the sousaphone. The trumpet, I just play for fun. I don't usually do many trumpet gigs, but the sousaphone is really my working instrument.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I play. I can relate a little bit. I play the guitar, and
nice.
So I've been playing since I was like 12. So over 20 years. So I do, and I can relate to the fact you have to play every day. You have to keep at it, and you have to accept the fact you're probably going to suck for about 3 years. Honestly, you're not going to be that great for about 3 years. At least for me, it took a long time, especially with the guitar. I mean, I'm sure it's true with any instrument, but with the guitar, it takes forever just to be able to get to where you feel comfortable just picking. I mean, it takes in fretting. It just takes forever for it to feel natural, and eventually, once it does feel natural, you can enjoy it more. And it's just a fun thing now for me. And it's cool. It's just a fun thing. I've never played live. I just play my own thing and just have fun with it. But I do love playing the music.
Yeah, man, I run into so many musicians. I usually, music, especially when you do it for a living, you have to do like, we do a lot of cover stuff, like cover music, stuff that's kind of trendy, popular, stuff like that. Music this day. So and a lot of the musicians that I play with are like literally like 20 years younger than me. They're like 18 through like 18 to about like 23-ish, Man, I'm really blown away by their musicianship. It's like a lot of these younger musicians, they will literally lock themselves up in their room for like literally like 3 or 4 months, and they'll come out playing like a lot of this stuff, and it's like, I ask them sometimes, dude, how long you been playing the guitar? Oh, a year. And they're already playing like gigs, and like a lot of the gigs we play, you have to have a lot of repertoire for them. It's crazy.
It's I think it's the YouTube and
exactly.
All that is. I mean, back when I was doing it, it was shitty tabs that I did have the internet at least, so I could at least find them kind of, but they were always wrong. And then I would get the sheet books and I would find shitty DVDs if I could, and so it was just way different. I couldn't even imagine learning with YouTube now. Yeah, that would just makes it so much easier to be able to because any song, any riff, anything, look it up and you can see it with the tabs and everything.
There's a tutorial to how to do it. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so different.
I'm jealous of young people. Honestly, that's amazing that they get that.
Yeah. I teach. Most of the guys that I teach are a little bit older. They're more in their 20s, and a brass instrument is very difficult because, like, in a guitar or a piano, whatever string you plug or whatever note you hit is going to give you that note. Here, it's like the same fingering will give you like 12 different notes.
I looked that up the other day. I was like, there's only 3 things. That's what I was thinking. Like, there's only so many combos here.
3 valves.
And then I realized I learned that on a YouTube video. I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense. So I was like, how do you do all the notes?
It's all the overtones. Yeah, it's on an overtone thing. Yeah. So that's the thing that's very difficult about these instruments. These wind or brass instruments is it's 3 things. It's the air control, it's the muscle memory, and it's the embouchure. It's like these things that you literally have to hear the note before you play the note. It's like
Right.
otherwise you could play the note higher or the note lower, or you can just be in different keys. And some of these older people that want to start, I mean, it's hard to learn a language or an instrument kind of when you're older, because honestly, and going back to this whole weight loss thing, you got to make it a top 3 priority in your life.
Yeah.
And most people, they got bills, they got work, they got family, they got whatever else going on. And it's like, to make music or weight loss a priority, it like really takes a lot of effort. Or you have to like put these other things on the back burner for a while, to get good with these things. So yeah, it's difficult. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's just difficult
Is it
the older
almost?
you
I'm
get.
just kind of curious. Is it almost like you're singing it, sort of, like, kind of, or is it sort
Not
of?
so much that you're singing it, because the actual instrument will make the I hear the note, but I'm not singing the note with my throat. Just,
Sure.
I'm
But you're,
blowing the
it's
air.
almost, it's kind of like you're humming it, sort of, in a way.
Not necessarily, because I don't feel when you hum, you can
Yeah.
feel where the hum is. It's like
Yeah.
in your throat or in your chest. Yeah, it's in like your throat right here.
Hmm.
But here, there's no resonation here that will make the
That's
hum. The
so
actual
interesting.
instrument, yeah, the
So
actual
it's just
instrument,
got to do with how you're
yeah,
doing your. That's so
yeah.
interesting.
Like when you take off the mouthpiece, there it'll make there's a certain amount of pressure coming from the instrument going back to you, because if you just go, you're just blowing
Right.
into the whole room. But here it's constrained, so it's like the pressure that the instrument is giving back, with the air that you're bringing through the instrument, is creating that sound.
Gotcha.
I'm writing the hymn. We will persist forever. Man, when hype mentioned that, when this thing gets to like $1 trillion, like he's gonna have a facility in Thailand. It's like, we
Yeah.
have to create Aeon music. There has to be a recording studio there. There's so
Dude,
many
yeah, man.
musicians like in the Aeon movement, like you, me, like
Yeah, that's
Eternal.
true.
He's like an MC. He's like a rapper. He's like creating a
Really.
bunch of, yeah.
Hmm.
He's got a SoundCloud
There's so
page.
many. User Aeon One is a DJ.
There's so
Um,
many people, and it's like
Joe Grower, I think's his name. He's a guitar player.
interesting.
There's
Yeah,
so many. Yeah, there's so many.
yeah. We have to create Aeon music. That's like one of my
Oh yeah,
dreams.
Mike can play drums and the guitar
Mike
and
too.
the
Yeah,
bass. I think he can play all three.
yeah.
So
So yeah, I mean, I think we can definitely have the. I went to rehearsal like a couple weeks ago, and literally I onboarded like 3 of the 4 people that were there.
nice.
So I think they're all musicians. And it's like somebody commented there, hey, yeah, we when we should hear the Aeon band.
That does need to be a thing at some
Yeah.
point.
Eventually these
Oh yeah,
things
and
will happen.
Undi's making electronic music now,
Undy too. Yeah,
which they
yeah,
started. This is kind of crazy. They were playing black metal before, like that
yeah.
super heavy type music and singing. That they're not screaming, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
like really
crazy.
like one of the crazy, like not just regular metal, like one of the more hardcore genres of metal. And now they're
Yeah,
playing like this awesome, like kind of lighthearted, electronic music.
electronic
This
music.
is
Yeah,
music's music, I guess. So it's just
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I have a jazz studies background. I went to University of Washington and studied jazz there.
Wow,
I got a bachelor's degree in jazz,
that's
and the
awesome.
jazz musicians, yeah, the jazz musicians, Quincy Jones and all those guys have always said it's not jazz music or Mexican music, or it's just music.
Yeah,
they've always said that. And it's true. Mhm.
interesting. Yeah, I'm
Music
not.
is music.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. It's awesome. I do. I love to play the guitar. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I've never taken it serious enough to try to start a band or anything like that, but I've always just enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, going back to the, earlier I was saying that, I've always been a gracious person, a very grateful person, and it's like, man, like I just like literally after I did that fast, I got like the call from the spirit to do my music. I always thought that coming up this next year, I'm gonna be 45 next year. So
Sure.
so I always thought that from 45 to whatever, like till the end of my life, I'm just gonna do music. It's like I was in banking for a long time. I did my health and fitness thing to help other people. Now I just want to do music, and I've been doing it since the fast, basically since the end of 2022, 2023 till this year. So not even really not even 3 years, I've been doing it. And I mean, initially I felt really guilty, because it's like I make a really good amount of money for what I do. It pays very well, and I have a lot of free time. So when I first started just doing music basically full time, because music was always kind of like 20% of my income and my activities, and other stuff was always 80%. And then I shifted that to like more 80-90% music, and it gave me a lot more time with the same amount of income that I was making before. So it's like, I've always worked 3 or 4 jobs ever since, I'm an immigrant, and it's like we come up here to work, and like it was either school, a job, music, or 2 jobs and music. It was always, I was always like really busy with that stuff. And music, and also the pandemic probably helped with that too, is just to be able to take a step back, prioritize my sleep, and yeah, I mean, I really love, there's this one book, it's called The One Thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I never heard of that.
It's really popular around like real estate circles. I think
Mm.
it's a guy named Gary Keller, or one of those Keller Williams people that wrote the book. It basically like tracks a lot of like the real successful people that you and I know, and like
Hmm.
people that we don't know, that basically just like tells the story of how when they first got started, they chose one thing.
Right.
Like Bill Gates, he chose one thing until that thing was really successful, and then he diversified, and all these people, right? So it's like I feel like I've gone backwards on that thing. I did many things, and then like I've been kind of narrowing it to one thing, and
Right.
it's like, yeah. So now I feel just really happy that I could do music. It'll give me, I DCA basically $100 a day. I reached my
Oh, awesome.
goal. Yeah, I had a short-term goal of how many SPX coins I wanted to have. I reached that goal last month, and now I'm working towards buying my NFT, my lifetime NFT.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and also, uh, when I reached that goal, I was like, okay, I'll start buying Ethereum just so I could buy my NFT, and then work towards my long term goal, SPX goal, my 4 to 5 year goal. But it's just like it's hard for me to buy anything else. It's like I just want to buy SPX. So I've kind
The
of continued
prices, the
just
prices, the
DCAing.
price is good right now, so I don't blame you.
Yeah,
So
I've been just continuing to DCA SPX. I figured, maybe like I don't know, maybe I'll get your thoughts about it. Like
what's up?
I'm kind of torn because I really want this NFT like super
Yes.
bad. And it's like on sale right now for like 1.29 ETH. And it's like I could tap into my SPX and buy the NFT. I
Yeah.
would dip a little bit below my goal, my short-term goal, which I would replenish back because I'm DCing
Sure.
every day still. What would you do? I know you already got,
Uh,
an university, but
um, I don't know how. I would never. I would never sacrifice. I mean, I know. Yeah, you would want to get it back to where you were. Like I'm sure you could, but I would never want it to be more than 10% of my SPX. That's me personally.
so what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like
So
if say you had I was making up numbers. Say you had 100
yeah.
SPX and the NFT costs 20
Oh, got it,
SPX.
got
I
it,
would
got it,
never
got
want to
it.
spend 20 SPX. I would never want to 20% of my SPX to buy the NFT. But if the NFT costs, say, 8 SPX, I would do it because
Yeah.
I want to be 8%.
So like 8%, got it. So you want to do more than 10% of the
That's
SP.
me.
Okay.
That's me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that gives me some kind of framework,
That's me. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really hard to. It's I mean, and the NFTs are very cheap right now, so it is tempting. And
I
I wouldn't
know.
blame you if you did. I've heard some people do it. I don't blame people for doing it at all. But just
Yeah.
for me, I wouldn't want to go below the 10% would be the most I'd be willing to shell out.
Got it.
That's
Okay,
me
yeah,
though.
I'll check that out. Yeah, Ethereum is also pretty cheap right now too. So it's like I could
Yeah,
just bite the bullet, get it, and then just replenish my
yeah.
my
I,
SPX.
I I don't. That's a way to go too. So
Yeah, I just want it so bad, and it's like I guess a little part of me fears that somebody else is gonna buy my end because when Mike posted up
yeah,
that website where you could create your own
yeah,
Aeon, I created an Aeon, right, and
yeah.
then I just put it as my PFP, and then I went on to OpenSea and I found one that's almost identical to the one I created, so I was like, oh, I
That's
want it so
amazing.
bad.
That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
just want it so bad.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know what amount you have or how much SPX it would take for you to do, and I mean, just if you want, just do it.
I know how I
That's
should.
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Just
I'll
fucking
wait
do
one
it.
more month. I'll wait one more month because I could, the thing also for us is like this time of the season, it's like a slow season with music. So it's like, okay, let me so a couple of, a couple of times I try to put on my big boy pants and like do the the Maddox DCA. Oh man, I almost didn't have money for rent, I was like, I'm gonna be Maddox for 3 days. Boom, 1,000. Boom, 1,000. Boom, 1,000. I was like, oh man, how am I gonna pay rent? I was like, yeah, don't you'll hurt
Yeah.
yourself trying to be Maddox. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to go too crazy on it, but I mean, the
Yeah, it was funny.
Maddox goes is man, awesome what he's doing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, no, I told myself because I kind of had gone away like when I went on that trip, and then I came back, and that's when SPX was really running. I have a
Yeah.
small bag of Giga, and I'm probably gonna. I told Cryptic Monge, since he's so involved with Giga, that I was gonna, because he's helped me out so much. I was like, dude, I'm gonna double my Giga bag for you, man. Because like you've helped me out so much. So I'm still. But it's hard for me to buy anything besides SPX. So I'm
Especially
still
these
like,
prices, but
I know.
yeah.
So, but I had told myself because SPX had run over $2,
Yeah.
so it's like when it started coming back down, it was like, oh man, if it ever gets back to $1 again, I'm just gonna go just buy like just to get to my short-term goal. And then yeah, I was given that. So I was like, boom, thousand,
Awesome.
thousand, thousand. Yeah. So yeah, so I
Awesome.
took full advantage of that opportunity. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I we're gonna look back on these prices. I feel I don't know when, but at some point we'll look back and laugh at it. So a dollar will
yeah.
60 cents, a dollar, $2, $3 will all
It's like, yeah,
feel like the same price.
sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it'll all be basically the same because
Yeah.
like people who bought Bitcoin at $100 versus $200 versus $300,
It's all the
it's
same.
the
Yeah.
same price. It does. You
Yeah.
got it cheap as crap. So
Yep. Yep.
you're not gonna be complaining.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's in deep value territory right now. So, unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of extra cash. I have enough to do my daily DCA, and that's what I do. So,
Yeah.
just
Me too.
sticking with it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm doing like $100 a day. I'm kind of caught up with my DCAs because I kind of went big on some days,
yeah,
but I'm just gonna commit to that. Eventually, probably I'll probably do like if it's $100 a day that I have, like I'm just gonna do like 50 to Bitcoin and 50 to SPX. And
nice.
kind of
Yeah,
just kind of play with that
balance.
over the years.
I
Yeah,
think that's a great like long term. Maybe you get to your goal, and then you just
exactly.
long term like 50-50 or some kind of split
Yep.
between the two. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think wherever Bitcoin gets to, it's like I feel, and I think Morad has said this too. He thinks it's going to get back down to 50K at some point. It could get back down there, and that's what I believe too. Like around there, anything at 70 or 60, it's like just buy. It's like
Mm,
I want to have some amount of Bitcoin for for long term, and
yep.
I think I'm just going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Um, how bullish are you?
Oh man, this is crazy. I'm very bullish, I'm very bullish. I kind of want to say, no, I wanted to go back to 1 cent so we could just all bundle up, like get a bunch of no, I'm very bullish, and I understood from these other coins that, from previous cycles that these things don't happen overnight. It's
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, you could have been a Marauder, you could have been an Eternal and got like dirt cheap prices, or like, but you have to be like in special circles for that, I believe, for you to, and then also to hold it through this, through all that
Oh yeah,
volatility in the
most people
first phase.
sold.
So
So
yeah, even with Bitcoin, early
hmm
people, a lot of early people sold. So, I'm looking at this for 2030. It's
yep.
like whatever, like whenever that hit, that moment that it hit me, there's I don't know if it's a meme or somebody said it, but they say that you make your real money in crypto after on your third cycle. And that kind of tracks to Morad. I don't know like what his net worth is, but obviously he's got a big portfolio. This is pretty much his third big, his
hmm
third full cycle in the thing.
Yeah.
By that time it'll be my third cycle. And it's like, and I believe that, and it's like I believe that over the next 4 to 5 years, all I want to do is just continue DCA into SPX,
Yep.
and whether it's $1 or 50 cents or a cent or $100 or whatever it is, I just kind of gonna do my daily DCA. And I know at the end, like if any of the people listening, just go back and do a DCA calculator with Bitcoin or Solana or Ethereum or XRP, any of those, and you'd been doing your whatever amount DCA over the last 4 years, even if you bought at the last peak, you would still be like, 600% return or more on any of those coins, And I think the conviction that we all have for SPX is that or greater. Like I
Right.
never went out and shilled XRP to anybody.
No.
I actually
Yeah.
was. I learned from my first business. I went to the Bitcoin conference in Miami back in like 2022 or something,
Interesting.
and I was just kind of sharing with. I got a friend who's like a Bitcoin maxi.
Hmm.
He's also a musician. He's a guy I really admire and respect a lot here locally. He's a doctor in music, and he's just super cool, and like super great musician. So we went to the Bitcoin conference together, and I didn't know at the time. I thought crypto was just like this cool ecosystem where there was all these coins and all these projects, and
Hmm.
everybody loved each other. Nah, Bitcoin
No.
maxis do not like XRP. I was
Oh.
like, dude, I hold X amount of XRP. He's like, dude, shut. He's like, dude, you're gonna get us kicked. You're gonna get us kicked out of this conference. You gotta shut up, bro. He's literally telling me that in the middle. We're like listening to Michael Saylor give his speech, and I'm like, XRP. And it was like, what this guy smoking crack over here? Get this guy out of
Oh
here.
my
It
God.
was not good. Yeah, no, I learned that Bitcoin maxis don't like other coins. Yeah.
No, they do
So yeah,
not.
but I mean, I'm passionate about SPX. I know it's gonna whatever it does, whether it does a 10x or 100x or a 5x, whatever. It's like for me, the monetary thing, yeah. Like to me, like for that school that I have in mind, it's gonna take tens of millions of dollars probably, right? And it's
Hmm.
like if I could ever have that through SPX or through this movement, yeah, I would be like, this is like that's how strongly I feel about this
Yes.
movement is that one day it could give me whatever amount of dollars that I would need to go fund that school. And
Yep.
it's not even about the dollars. Literally, the first space like that I ever joined, like I think you were on it.
Hmm.
Ilya was on it. And he immediately
Yeah.
asked me about my school. Somebody asked me, "Oh, why were you going to Mexico?" I was like, "Oh, well, I had this thing. I was trying to start this school." And Ilya was like, "How much is it going to cost to start your school?" And it's like those are things that the main thing that I would ever like wish for the community is help organizing that school. You know,
Yeah.
like because there's so many like organizational super minds in this community, that know how to organize something like that's what I would love to tap into,
Yep.
because literally with the amount of instruments that I have right now, we could start a school. If I knew about the logistical stuff and like what we're gonna need and who's gonna need to be there and all this stuff, that my mind doesn't work that way. It's like
Right.
I'm a visionary. I see the vision of what I want it to be,
Yeah.
and it's like, but I don't know how to make that whole thing. And it's because it involves children. Most of the stuff in my life, I've just like seen a vision and I've gone towards it. And whether it's music or my health and fitness company when I had it,
Yeah.
it's like I just go and do it, and I break a bunch of shit, and then like it's like I've eventually figured things out. But this thing needs to be done the right way. It's
Sure.
like with a plan and like with the right way because it involves children.
Well, and
So that
I think as we get bigger, and price goes up and all that, I think the something like that can become a reality.
yeah
Because I
yeah I
mean,
believe
it's
that
only going to grow. The community is there's going to be so many more people, and that was I think I've said this before. I'm interested to see how people will use their wealth for good. So I think there will be a lot of good because I think we got a lot of good people. You have a good
yeah
idea, and I think that'd be a great way to to use it. And I think Grill Ape had an awesome idea about he's passionate about apes and
yeah
exotic. He has some cool ideas with that, and it'll be so interesting to see as we get bigger how that pans out.
Yeah, and yeah, in addition to the financial aspect, like the whole community aspect of people who
Yeah,
would want to unite around those things, like if you want to use your wealth and travel the world and have fun and buy a big house, that's cool, like that's what a lot of people want to do, and other people want to, like Grill 8 wants to donate to his his sanctuary, and I want to
yeah,
start a school. I'm sure there'll be other initiatives out there, and it's like how can we be a part of each other's success, it's like
yes,
that's how I see it. Yeah, Eternal is like, yeah, he was telling me, yeah, I got into music because I wanted to buy a microphone, for my recording, just to record myself at home at my home studio. And like, and it's like
yeah,
that's why he initially got into crypto, and it's like we all have our own like ideas of kind of what we want to use this, potentially, like if we get to these numbers, what we would use that for,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have a goal too. It
Yeah.
keeps you like focused for sure. Yeah, I don't 100% know what my goal is yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I want the options. That's where I'm at. Right, I want optionality in my life,
Yeah.
and I don't know exactly what I want to do with it yet. If we do hit those numbers, I don't 100% know yet. So I'm
Yeah.
still thinking
Do
about
you
that.
have kids? I know you mentioned your wife, but do you have
I have one
kids?
kid.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yep, she's only 1.5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep. So, do you
Cool,
have any
man.
kids?
I don't have children, no. I want to have a family someday, wife and family. I don't I've been kind of single for the last few years, just trying to focus on these things that I want to do. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
eventually I would love for that to be the case.
Yeah, I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. I'm very
Yeah, I love
grateful.
kids. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love kids. And I have a nephew and a niece that
that's awesome.
biological nephew and niece, and I have other non-biological nephews and nieces and different, family. I just love them. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. It's been one of the. It's been probably the greatest thing I've ever experienced. Honestly,
Yeah.
and you can't really prepare for it. Like you think you're prepared for it. You think like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this, and then you have a kid and you're like, I'm way more selfish than I realized.
Oh no, I'm very selfish. Yeah, that's why I
You-
haven't done it yet. Yeah, no, I'm very selfish. Yeah.
once you once you do it, there's no going back.
I
So
know.
you got
Yeah.
to be ready for. I mean, you never will be fully ready. I realized I was
Sure.
still way more selfish than I realized, but
Interesting.
you have to get rid of it. If you don't get rid of it, you're gonna have a bad time.
No, I know.
You're
Yeah.
gonna be a
Yeah.
bad time being a parent. I'll just tell you.
Yeah. No, I know. I know that when you have kids, like they gotta be your top thing. And
Yeah,
it's like, yeah,
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 it's tough, and there's always trials with it. And but it's getting she's getting to the age now where she's like understanding things better, and like
yeah.
when she's kind of saying more words. It's just way more. It's just so entertaining. I can't wait till
Sure.
she can really like do stuff, and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's very
Have you bought her
rewarding, but it's
SPX,
hard.
bro? Have you made her an SPX wallet?
I mean, I'm custodying it for her now.
Yeah, 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 totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
yeah. No, it's yeah. I'm looking for but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this wealth will be used. And yeah, Hype's got an awesome idea. Thailand. That's,
Bro, I think there needs to be music creation because there's obviously a movement like this needs a lot of marketing. And when
yes.
we get these dollars, man, oh, and we can just spend like literally like I would move to Thailand and just be there like day and night. It's like I don't have a family, I don't have kids right now. It's like I would just go and do it. And it's like I would create music with other Aeons, and like we have our music arm and then a marketing arm and videos and production and stuff. Oh man, we could just have so much.
Oh my
We can
god, I
have like a
know.
podcast studio there, and it's like
Yep.
oh my god, it would just be so cool.
There's so many things that can happen. It's just we're early.
Yeah.
We have to get it there, and it'll take time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the other thing that once you've been in crypto a couple cycles, like people will throw a bunch of like different like price targets. They're rarely ever correct.
Yeah.
And the one thing I really like about, kind of that old school mentality about, like the Warren Buffetts and stuff like that is like when you buy an asset, like you have to think you're buying this for the rest of your
Yes.
life. And I guess that's if there was one mistake I made in crypto back in 2021 is like bought like 40 or 50 different projects,
Sure.
and it's like, that's going back to the book. The one thing is like you got to pick one thing and like go full on that thing. Or even Morad said in a recent interview, there's no such thing as diversification with these things. You literally have to pick the top one and DCA every day and write it out.
Yep.
And that's what I feel about SPX. It's like I don't want anything else. It's like I want
Yeah.
just this in Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin. It's like that's like the established thing, and it's super safe, so it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like a
And
retirement type thing,
yeah, that's how I look at it, like a retirement account almost.
Yeah.
And then SPX is on the riskier side, but I don't feel like it is risky, obviously, but I'm biased. But people from the outside looking in would say it's very risky because they're not involved, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
But once you get it, and once you get into if you looked at it, once you get into it, you realize you just got to get to that conviction level. I just have insane conviction on it. It's not risky to me. It's just not.
Yeah.
Some people
And
would deem it risky, but I don't.
Yeah, and what I always tell people is like only invest what you're willing to lose. Literally,
Yes,
only
yes,
invest. And when you DCA every day, whether it's $3 or $1 or $1,000 or $100 or whatever it is, like I look at my $100 DCA per day as like it's $100. Like for me, like that's what I could afford. I feel comfortable like that. If that went to zero, like that's the decision I made for my
right,
future. And because I believed in something, right? Like
yes,
that's what our whole mission is. We believe in this thing. And a lot of us, like Jesse was saying, it's like we know this thing is gonna get to a certain amount, a certain valuation. It's like we're having more and more conviction. And like when I heard Spacey, when I
yeah, that
heard
was
her
wild.
interview with you, bro,
Yeah,
like, oh my God.
that was
She
my
was like,
yes,
I will find a way as to where I never have to sell my SPX. I was like, I love you. It's like I want to do the same thing. It's like that would be the dream. And Matt
yeah,
Beck said it too. It's like, how do we like we want to do what Bitcoin did.
yeah.
We don't ever want to sell SPX, and it's like,
You don't
you
hear
know,
that from too many coins. There's
yeah,
very few that have that kind of power. And that, I think there's so many people that feel the way. That's why I'm just confident. It's just a matter of time. I don't know how
yeah.
fast it'll happen, but I do know I feel like it's going to happen. I just don't know when. So
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, that's like with anything in life. You want to be a millionaire overnight. Well,
yeah,
when it's going to happen. It's like we've chosen a vehicle that we believe is going to take us to 10 to 100x whatever our current investment in this vehicle is, right? We believe that, right?
hmm
People believe it's going to get to thousands x from where it's at now, and so it's like if people believe that, and like we'll have to see what happens in the bear market,
yeah,
because like anybody who's been through a bear market knows that whatever you say means nothing. It's whatever you do, so it's
hmm
like who holds to the bear market? Like it's gonna happen. Like it's happened other times in crypto. What would lead us to believe that this will be any different?
hmm
SPX could drop 90% or
hmm
99%, and it's like whoever is going to be convicted and going to follow their plan to DCA into this thing over the next 4 to 5 years is really going to be the winner of this thing,
yep,
and
yep,
and going forward even.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the big debate in general market is the cycle over? Are we not doing the cycle thing anymore? Has Bitcoin got that institutional adoption where it's not going to do the 4 year thing? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no idea. So my whole thing is I hold something that if it drops 90%, okay, I'll just keep buying. I mean, then I'll just go crazier. So
Yeah. I mean, what would be validation for you that the cycle is not over? If Bitcoin gets to 130 or what would be the thing?
validation for me would be if I think we will know. I'm gonna say June. If by June Bitcoin's sitting at like 75, 80K,
It's over.
it's over.
It's
This
over, bro.
we're going to a
Yeah.
bear market. If by June Bitcoin's 130K, 150K, I think the cycles are done.
Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, yeah, I guess Bitcoin could technically like go literally to 130 like this month, like
Yeah,
over the
they're good.
next, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
because it's like that's just what Bitcoin does. I
Yeah.
think if there's a new high in Bitcoin right now, the cycle continues.
Yes.
But I still do think that there's going to be some kind of cyclical nature to this whole thing.
It definitely will be.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think ready, steady, go. Is that ready, steady, go?
Yes.
Yeah. He was mentioning that institutional adoption is still like
Yeah.
institutions are still laughing at
And there's no
Bitcoin.
retail right now either. He was mentioning too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
There's rumors.
I'm
Yeah, there's
sorry. Go ahead.
rumors. I don't know if you've heard that, but there's rumors that there's gonna be a $2,000 like
Yes, I have heard that.
if that happens, bro. It's 2021 all over again,
And
bro.
then we're going into it's going to be 2021 and 2026.
Yeah,
That's what it will be, and the
sure.
cycle will be elongated. Or I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't care to be honest. I mean,
sure. Yeah,
it'll play out like it plays out. I'm in stuff I feel comfortable in. That's what I always say. I've said this many times. Own stuff that you feel comfortable going into a bear market into. Because if you're not comfortable,
exactly.
you're going to bottom sell, and it's not going to be
Yeah.
fun for you.
The only thing, like, say this gets to like 50 or $100 or whatever,
hmm
right? The only thing that I truly want, man, is to like cash out 25K and take my whole family, my dad, his
You
girlfriend, my
should.
brother and his wife, my sister, her husband and their kids, and myself and hopefully a significant other at the time. I don't know. To Hawaii, man. I just want an all expense trip to Hawaii, and that's what I would sell for. Like I would sell a little bit just to take them there.
Dude, you should, man.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it's there for. I think that sometimes the stop trading thing gets taken a little too literally. It's like the point is you should have conviction in it. But if you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm gonna sell some so I can go do something awesome that I really want to do. That's what it's there for. That's what it's meant for.
yeah,
So I mean, I think I encourage people if we go to $50 to $100 the next year or something crazy like that, you should sell some for something that you really want. Maybe it's a down payment on a house, maybe it's a car, whatever it is. You should do it.
yeah, yeah. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah,
I visualize it so much, and it's like, yeah. I mean, we're here for the long run,
we're
regardless,
here for the
But
long run, regardless. I'm just saying,
yeah,
if
kind
it
of
did
short
happen,
term, that'd be
yeah,
kind of cool. Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be kind of cool.
it'd be cool for sure. But like you found out in XRP, you sat that same price for years,
4 years,
and
yeah.
then
My average
boom,
buy was like 50 cents, yeah, over the years. It
you
was
got
like,
6x.
yeah, 6x
That's
was great.
and you had all
Yeah,
those years to buy into it. So that's awesome. So
yeah. Yeah,
that's
that's kind
really
of how
good.
I feel about this. If it were to stay
Yeah,
at $1 for the next 4 years, it's like cool. I'm just gonna keep DCing, even if it drops. It's like it
yeah,
doesn't matter. I think a lot of us have the same like kind of conviction about it. Jesse was saying, he's been in Bitcoin for a long time. He kind of sees how these things play
yes,
out. And it's like, and you look at it from like a tax perspective too. It's like how long have you been buying into this? Is it going to be taxed at 40%? Short-term capital gains or
that's true
whatever
too.
that may be. It's like, is it better just to hold? Eventually, this will be an asset where you could get a collateralized loan.
Hmm.
That way you don't have to pay so I'm kind of thinking more along those
Hmm.
lines to just keep the asset forever. And hopefully eventually you'll get to the point where there's enough liquidity where there could be like collateralized
Yes,
loans options for this. Yeah.
absolutely. I've always said too. It's like if you want to sell some or whatever, just always keep some. Just don't sell all
Yeah,
of it. That's
totally,
all I'm gonna say.
totally.
Just never sell all of it. That's just not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think that will be end up being. I mean, a lot of people think we're crazy, we're delusional, whatever. I don't care. I think that'll end up being like a Bitcoin story where people are like, "You sold all of it? Oh my god, you could, and it went to this price." I think that'll truly be a thing. So
Yeah.
you don't want to sell all of it, but I would never shame sell somebody or something like. If
Sure.
you have something awesome you want to do, you should do it. So that's how I feel about it. And I think we're
Yeah.
gonna get so big eventually it won't matter. That's
Yeah.
what I believe. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Slow, shout out to him, man. He like recommended that I put my tip addresses there,
Yeah.
and with like the Robo contest that we won and like just different tips that I've got, it's like even getting one SPX like blows me away. It's like I've always been a giver, and it's like through entrepreneurship, I learned to ask for help and to receive, through when I started my own company. So, but still, even like receiving one SPX for me like means like a lot. It's
Yeah.
like I'm super grateful, because like if it were to ever get to 69,000 per coin, it's like crazy.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I I love the targets. I love the targets, man. And I think it's. I don't know. We're about to go into this crazy world. I don't know, robots and AI. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think anything is possible. That's where I'm looking at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Anything is
True,
possible.
true.
And I think I said this before. I mean, who knows if this actually happens? But I said by 2030 we'll be at a trillion. That's my prediction.
What I would love is for us to get in the top 10, the
Yeah.
top 10 cryptos, because that's where like a place where this coin's going to be multi-cycle, just like what's happened with XRP and Cardano and Solana and Ethereum and like
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin. Like these top 10 coins, if we could get in the top 10 like this cycle, whatever, however long that takes, like we know this is going to be multi-cycle.
Yeah.
So we just got to keep fighting for that. Like, I mean, just keep doing what we're doing, going out to shill, getting on I'm like horrible on Reddit. I think I've only done like one post there, but
Reddit's
it's like,
hard. Reddit's hard.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard. It doesn't and I like it to a degree, but I don't like it as much. Some people seem to really like it. I think that's great. I hope
sure.
they keep going for it, but it just doesn't. I don't know. For some reason, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, I know that I can contribute in my ways,
Yeah.
which is like with this weight loss thing, and then with eventually do some music around it and the Spanish content around it, and also in real life stuff about it. So that's what I'm gonna keep doing, following those things. It just really like man, I get so pumped when I show up to like a practice or a recording session and somebody shows me that they have
That's
SPX.
awesome.
It's so crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The other day, I don't know if you saw the video. I was teaching a student, and when I teach, I a lot of times I go on live on TikTok, and I saw an Aeon pop in. I was like, yeah, shout out SPX, persist forever. And
Awesome.
then my student, like super smart, like super like on top of things, was like, hey, he was struggling with this one passage, and I was like, part of the rule is you got to play it perfect 10 times before. I'll set a metronome so that they have to play
Sure.
it perfect 10 times before we can increase the metronome pace. So I was like, okay. He was like, hey, if I get this right 10 times, give me 100 SPX. I was like, bro, you're getting 10 SPX. But yeah, okay, so check this out. He said, okay, give me 3 chances. The first chance, he didn't get it. The second chance, he got to 9. And finally, on the third shot, he got it, right? He got
Yeah.
the 10 SPX. He got it right 10 times, right?
Yeah.
So I sent him 10 SPX. He showed me, he came back like 3 days later for his another lesson. He had been DCAing every day.
That's awesome.
Bro, like he had never been into crypto.
That's
And it's
amazing.
like, and I gave him 10 SPX, and he showed me like the next day he bought 20, and then he bought 10, and he's like, he's been
What app
DCAing.
is he using? I'm curious.
I didn't even know you could do this. We
Yeah.
literally just downloaded a MetaMask,
Yeah.
and the MetaMask didn't even ask him to set like a 12 password, or it didn't even ask for like a
Hmm.
seed phrase. It literally just went from downloading MetaMask to you being able to buy it with Apple Pay.
Wow.
That's different than when I signed on, because I got a seed phrase and all that stuff, and I thought
Yeah.
it was going to give him that, but it didn't. It just asked him to set a password, and it literally linked up to his PayPal, and he literally was able to buy.
Wow. Yeah, it's gotten
Yeah.
way better than before.
Before it was Coinbase, literally I'd have to like on ramp $100 every day and then
Yeah.
transfer it over to base and then buy it there. So
That's
it's been a
amazing.
lot easier. Yeah. But I know Coinbase will ask for like what do they call it? Get to know your client, or what KYC
KYC, yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
all that crap. Yeah.
So I always recommend
Yeah.
them. Like, I mean, that was super easy.
It's
So now
awesome.
that I know you could do that, I'm just gonna tell people, yeah, download MetaMask and get it there. I used to tell them to get it on Moonshot.
Moonpay, yeah, Moonshot, yeah, that's right.
Moonshot, but
Yeah.
the Moonshot, I didn't realize it doesn't have like an address where you could send and receive. It's like weird. I
Interesting.
don't even know if it's real SPX on Moonshot, because I was trying to send it to my like cold storage.
Hmm.
It's like I just got $10 there, but it's like I can't even send it. I could send it through somebody's like Moonshot like username or email, but I can't send it to like a MetaMask wallet. So I don't even think it's real. I don't know.
I don't. I haven't messed with it. That sounds a little
Yeah.
shady.
Yeah, and that's I only used to use that, like recommend that when people were like, like people weren't into crypto. I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, you can get on Moonshot or download, one of these wallets. But now that it's on Coinbase, I just tell people, yeah, get Coinbase
Easy. Yeah.
and eventually when we'll be on Robinhood, it'll be so much easier
I
too.
can't. Oh, I hope that happens. That's the. Well, there's two left that I really hope we get on eventually or soon. Robinhood for sure, and then also we're on Binance US, but we're not on
Yeah,
Binance proper, which
we
is the
need Binance Global. Yeah, the real big one.
yes. We need
Yeah.
those two are the last two missing ones we have. I mean, there's others, but those are the two big ones. Coinbase was a huge win. I'm not trying to. I'm so awesome we got that, but
Yeah.
and Kraken's a big one. We're on that too. And I've actually the Kraken has like I think more supply than Coinbase. I was looking at the
Oh wow.
wallets. Yeah, Kraken's been
Nice.
doing great, but it's been on there. We've been on there a lot longer.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Coinbase will eventually surpass it because it's more popular. But
Yeah, just holding Shiba Inu, like, when I was in it, like it did, like when it got onto Coinbase, it maybe it did a little bit, but it didn't do like his big move until like months later after it got
yeah,
to. So I think that's what's gonna happen with SPX too. And it's like Morad's been on a rampage lately. He's been on, and what he's starting to do too is like he's going on different shows that don't even really like, they're not even crypto focused. They're
right. I
like
think it's great.
concept focused about different things, different concepts, and
Yes.
yeah. So he and like the awesome thing about him is like he can do somebody who's got like like 500K subscribers, and he'll do somebody who's got like 3K subscribers or 1K subscriber. It's
He
like
did. He's done
he's
me. I had
yeah,
like
yeah,
400 at the time or something. The first
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So that was amazing. The only reason why I asked him is like he been on Blue, and I was like, he's not big at all. And I was like,
yeah. Did you
I'll,
DM him? You were like, hey,
I
Murad, can you come
did
on?
right after that. I was like, will you do mine too?
Oh, dude.
like, like, You might do
bro.
mine, no? Then he just said yeah.
That's awesome, bro. Did he reply pretty quick or?
No, it took like a couple days, and then
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, and then if somebody is trying, I mean, his Telegram, he's more likely to answer. Um,
yeah.
he
I'm sure
said
he's
he
like
said his
bombarded with
he
yeah,
said his XDMs don't even load anymore.
yeah.
So
I
I
could
guess I
just
got lucky to give me get to him, to be honest. But
you could just imagine like the amount of messages that that guy gets. You know?
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's crazy. So yeah, I'm glad he did it. It definitely helped bring even more attention to what I was doing. So I'm glad for it.
Yeah, awesome, bro. Yeah, I mean, we were all like watching you before Morad, but then when you got Morad, we're like, you got Morad. Like I commented that on your as soon as I saw, it, I was
Yeah.
like, bro, you did it. You got Morad on here.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I mean, and he's agreed to do it monthly with me, which is
I
really
know that's
crazy.
awesome, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, you're the show. Like, I mean, you and Flip the stock market, obviously, but it's like you're the like, they call you the Joe Rogan of freaking SPX over here, bro. It's like you're that guy,
it's so
It's
funny.
super. It's like the one-on-one. The Flip the
Yeah,
stock market, it's like a
very
different
different. Yeah,
dynamic,
very,
Yeah,
I
different
think it's
dynamic.
good. I hope we have more and more. Like the guy ranting for like 55 minutes the other. They came out like yesterday or whenever it did.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, it's
Very
funny.
different style, and I love those kind of styles, and I hope that just evolves over time. I hope somebody does something like I'm doing, and it's like 1,000 times better than me. That's my hope, and I'm sure that will happen eventually. So
I want
we'll
to
just keep
do
growing.
that in Spanish, like what you're doing, but in Spanish. So I got to reach out.
Great
And,
idea.
I'm hoping that this Miami thing, because everybody freaking speaks Spanish in Miami, and I know a lot of people are coming from out, but it's like I want to,
That's an
if
awesome idea. Yeah.
like just finding Spanish speaking Aeons to have enough of a roster. I guess just
Right.
starting to get the word out. I'm really focused, hyper focused on this weight loss thing. Once the 69 pounds is done, then I'm going to focus on probably
Hey,
creating
we got
something
plenty
like
of
that.
time. We got plenty of
Yeah.
time.
True.
It's going to be
I
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I had always envisioned starting a crypto channel in the bear market. I had always envisioned that,
That's a
So
good
that
time to, honestly.
yeah, that might be when I start this thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good time.
about Spanish SPX en español. I got a Spanish SPX Mexico X, like an alt account like that I created. So I want to start, creating content for that.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I love that. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yes, this is my Morad impression. I am telling you straight up, buy SPX 6900
Not financial
DCA,
advice.
not financial advice. Hold, persist forever. Yeah, I love when he does that, bro. I am telling you straight up, and he does the hands too. Like,
Do
yes,
this
buy
now.
SPX 60. Yeah, buy SPX 6900 DCA. If somebody wants to do that, Benjamin Graham, I don't know. Here, let me. Actually, I have it right here. Let me just read kind of just what it says because
Sure.
this thing like helped me get through the last bear market with XRP,
Mm-hmm.
and let me just take a quick look here. I have it. Where is it at? Investment contract. I modified it so it could be for crypto, but if anybody wants to hop on this with me through the bear market, because literally I want to do this for like the next 5 years. But basically, this is like the Benjamin Graham like type investment contract from the book. What's it
Okay.
called? The book?
The
Yeah, it's
intelligent
from
investor.
The Intelligent Investor. Yeah.
Yes.
It basically says it's like a contract that you do with a witness, and that's the
Okay.
power of it. You do it with somebody else for accountability.
Okay.
So it basically says, I, Cesar Amaral, hereby state that I am investor. I am an investor who is seeking to accumulate wealth for many years into the future. I know that there will be times when I will be tempted to invest in cryptocurrencies because they have gone up or are going up in price, or other times I will be tempted to sell my investments because they have gone down or are going down. I hereby declare my refusal to let a herd of strangers make my financial decisions for me. I further make a solemn commitment never to invest because the crypto market has gone up and never to sell because it has gone down. Instead, I will invest blank amount per day, every day through an automatic investment plan or dollar cost averaging program into the following cryptocurrencies. And here I put SPX 6900 and BTC.
That is
I'm just going
awesome.
to do that. Yeah. And it basically just says, hey, I'm going to do this every day for like the next 5 years or whatever it is. And it says at the bottom, The contract is valid only when signed by at least one witness and must be kept in a safe place that is easily accessible for future reference. Yeah, so
Wow,
this is a
that's
powerful
awesome.
contract, you know, because
Yes.
it'll help you so like really put it in writing what you plan to do. It'll have another person who knows that you did it, right? So it's like for the accountability piece.
Yep.
And I think, bro, this is going to be the best bear market ever whenever that happens because, like, we have each other, you know?
Yes.
It's
Oh,
like, oh my
yes,
God,
yes, yes,
had I
yes.
been through, like, had I had this community through the last bear, like, I would have been in a different financial place, you know?
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's like, I love where I am right now because obviously it led us all to SPX, but it's like, if in 5 years we can be in that place, you know, and like,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough. Yeah, I mean, like I was alone in it, and yeah, it was tougher. It was way tougher
Don't
without
you
a
feel
community.
shitty? Like you feel
Yeah.
like embarrassed? You feel ashamed?
Yes,
Like
yes.
the few people you did tell that you had, like
They're
friends
like,
of mine were like laughing at me because I had some Ethereum. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you held it, you know, and it had gone down to like whatever,
yeah,
1500, 1700. Yeah. But it's like, you know, and it's like, yeah, man, like that's the thing that's going to be the
right.
differentiator of this bear market. It's like we have each other, man. Like
It's
this is
true.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
true, and it's so true. It's gonna be way easier just because of
Yeah.
that. So it's a
True.
huge difference.
And
So
Bitcoin has already proved it. You know, it's
yeah,
like that community already proved that this could happen. It could go up
yes,
and it could drop 90% and it could go back up and then drop 80 and then, you know.
yeah,
So that's what we want to be, you know.
yeah. I'm not convinced we're in a bear market yet, but if we are, okay,
Yeah, no, no, I don't believe the bear is here yet.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
when that bear happens,
Whenever it does,
because
yeah,
I believe it will
it's gonna be
still happen, you
soon.
know.
Like
Yeah.
half a year, maybe a little longer. I don't know. Some point it will.
The
It's
euphoria
possible
phase
here. Yeah.
lasts like, you know what, like 2 to 6 weeks. The
Well,
euphoria fades, right?
the last thing I was gonna say, the people who say there's a 4 year cycle. Okay, cool. The end of 2021, it was insane euphoria.
It was
Like
insane euphoria.
we are not in like the
No, no,
general
no.
sentiment is awful. How could it?
Yeah.
I mean, if it is, then it's like not the great bull run, that's for sure. But I mean, I guess it's possible. But I'm not
There's going to be a
convinced.
catalyst. There's going to be a catalyst that's
Yeah,
going to spark the thing. And like Murad says, this thing's going to go up in 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to go from freaking, you know, 2 or 3 billion to freaking 80, you know? And
and
it's like,
we another thing is when we're all going to get you for it, just to be real about it. So,
yeah,
but we have to keep each other grounded too. That's another important
that's why this thing right here, man,
thing.
whatever
Yeah,
happens, it's like, just stay with it, you know?
you got to stick
You
around.
know, just
Yep.
stick around and let's see what happened in 2030, you know?
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
man. We'll go for it, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. You were a great guest.
Thanks, bro.
We almost hit a record time. Base God, who I talked with, it went a little longer, so you almost hit it, but
Have you
crazy amount
released
of
that
time.
one with Base Guy?
Not it's
I
coming
haven't, I
out. It's
haven't heard
coming
it.
out in a few. It's coming out on Saturday.
Can't wait to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
nice.
So yeah, it was a good one. But yeah, dude, great talk, and
Thanks, bro.
we went through a lot of topics. I will say.
Different stuff. Yeah, yeah. There's other. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have this conversation again one
Oh
day
yeah,
and like go deep dive into other things. And yeah, if you ever need help with any of your stuff that you're
absolutely.
going through, you know, please
Yeah,
reach out
same here, man. Same here.
for sure.
And yeah, I was gonna say one more thing about the Miami conference. I am bringing some. I bought some like mics that people could wear, like four
Oh,
different. I
nice.
bought
Yeah.
four, so I don't know how many. Maybe we get like I want to get several people. So maybe you can do it. We're able to do it or
Bro, like
something.
we could just like, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's one of the things I mentioned. I don't know who I mentioned it to, but it's like we got to make a huge effort to like document all that stuff,
Yes,
bro. Like
yes.
literally just like whoever is gonna be like I'm gonna be documenting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
we
like
multiple
we should
people.
have
Yeah,
like, yeah, we should have a bunch of people just like dedicated to just like, you know, and then
yes.
also like, man, if you did this with people down there like live, like, you
Yeah,
know,
that's what I
in
want to
like
do.
together,
That's what I
yeah,
want to do.
that'd be
At
awesome,
least the one
bro.
or at least one with several people and like more intimate, but at a different time somewhere. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know the
Yeah,
details. Yeah, somewhere
yeah,
we'll do it, and yeah,
exactly.
definitely at least one, and just maybe hopefully do several of them. I mean,
Bro,
I don't
anything
know
you need help with
ideas.
down there, yeah.
Yeah,
Anything you need help with, like with this, you know what, bro? You and the freaking Krishna, bro. You guys have like this thing, bro. I love listening to both of you guys. You guys have like a similar, very similar, like sense of like, you know, like you
yeah, I
guys are
know. I can,
comedians. You guys like have a very similar sense of humor, bro. It's like you guys click so well, bro. You
dude.
guys should start the freaking like, so, you know, Southern Fried Chat and freaking Krishna
Krishna.
like the
Well,
hour, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what I did too. But the end of the cognosphere, I'm doing one with Cryptic tomorrow. It's just me
Ooh,
and him.
yeah, bro.
But after that, going forward, it's going to be me, Slow, and Jeffrey and
Yeah,
Krishna. So basically,
nice.
one of them three or all three of them will always be
Oh,
on each
nice.
week.
Oh, so you're gonna be like, oh, okay, okay, like multiple
Whoever can
people.
join. It's always gonna be me,
Got
of
it.
course, because I have to run it. But and then if all three of them are there, cool. If one of them's there, cool. If
Yeah.
two of them's there, it's
Slow's
cool.
super awesome too. I've
Yes.
heard, you know,
Yeah. We.
him. I mean, everybody's cool.
Yeah. I've really. They're gonna be the core. And then once a month, I'm gonna get a guest on
Nice,
top of
nice.
that. So that's what's gonna be the idea going forward with that. But yeah, me and Krishna, we click.
Yeah, bro. It's super cool, like listening to both of you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, we riff
Nice.
off each other. So I'm
Nice,
looking
bro.
forward to them. Yep. Anyways, again I appreciate you coming on, and you were great, and you're an awesome Aeon doing lots of work. It's great and awesome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who has listened this far, and please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll provide a link to 1% Aeon's X account. Until next time, persist forever, Aeons.
Persist forever.